tiny basement, and we are back in the basement for the Yankees and the Cleveland Guardians. Time to get a win. Long game last night. Long game, the longest game of the MLB season, and not just for the Yankees or the Guardians, like the longest game of the MLB season, period. 1 second.
It's kept it in every game, but it's been close down the line. Down the end of the game, you don't want to play the Guardians. But, Lane Thomas, when you look, it's his sixth season. Had a big breakout year last year with the Nationals.
Anyway, can't have any reflections of the game going on back there. So anyway, they big game last night. 12 innings. We're just getting underway here. Cortez Kwan just flied out, so we're up to the second batter right now. So Austin Wells is starting tonight. It's been very strange. He hasn't, since Trevino's been back, he's started 4 of the last 5 games. Why? Trevino's a better defensive catcher, there's no doubt. But I don't understand why. Wells has the hot bat right now. Why would you sit him down? It doesn't make any sense. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to Aaron Boone. I don't completely dislike him. I just don't understand some of these moves. Why would you sit him down? It makes zero sense to me. Zero. I mean, I understand getting Trevino back into it, but how about a game here or there? What's with the 4 out of the last 5 games? And Wells is batting hot right now. He's got a hot bat, and I just don't get it. It's very strange. Very strange, but here we are, right? Gunner, OG Cellar Dweller accounted for. Gunner's in the basement. What's going on, Gunner? Doing great, man. Missed you on Sunday, bro. Missed you on Sunday, man. Blue Jays are currently the only team. I know. I've said this to you a million times, Gunner, and I don't get it. What is up with the Blue Jays, man? And they unloaded everybody, right? They unloaded quite a few players. I'm surprised Guerrero is still on the team. I figured he might have been gone by now. I don't understand the Blue Jays, man. The Red Sox I expected to be dead last, and they actually have shown a lot of fight. They've shown a lot of fight this year. Well, Cortez clean, 1, 2, 3 inning. That's what we need. Luis Gil got hurt last night, threw something out in his back. He was gone by like the 4th inning. So we had a bullpen. We unloaded the entire bullpen last night. The entire bullpen. And Cortez needs to pitch at least 6 innings tonight. He's had the bullpen is beaten up badly. And Clay Holmes, please. It's funny, he came in last night in a 3-3 tie, lights out, boom, boom, boom. Where is that when we have the lead, man? He's blown 10 games this year. That's the most in MLB. Even though his numbers don't look bad and his ERA doesn't look bad, it's the most in the league. Yeah, Gunner, that is rough. I just don't understand the team, man. I don't understand them. Every year I think they're going to do pretty good. I think they're going to be the team to beat. They just don't. I'm surprised. I am surprised. Manav, another OG Cellar Dweller accounted for. Manav in the basement. What's going on, Manav? How you doing today? And it's like, 4 o'clock out there in Cali. So we got Glaber leading off. Soto, Judge, Stanton, Wells, Volpe, Verdugo, Peraza, and Ben Rice. Volpe's another one. Can you give the guy a day off? He's had some weird swings this year. I mean, swings in his, no pun intended, but some weird swings. He's hot, he's cold. He's hot, he's cold. And either streak lasts for a little while, but the guy has been awful at the plate, even though he did all right last night. But the Mets, thank you, New York Mets. They beat the Baltimore Orioles today. So if the Yankees win today, we will jump back into first place. The Mets took 2 out of 3 from Baltimore, which helps us out tremendously. As you guys know, Baltimore and the Yankees are going back and forth at first place here. The Mets beat them today on another walk-off home run by Winker. 2 nights ago, Francisco Alvarez, I like that kid a lot. Francisco Alvarez, man, banged a home run to win the game there. So they're looking good. The Mets are looking all right. Manav, I'll catch you in a few minutes. Just getting off work soon. Okay, Manav, look forward to it. You know everybody else will be in here by then. But Volpe, I don't understand why he has to be in the lineup every day. You can give him a break. You can give him a day off. We got Peraza back up now. You could stick Cabrera at short. I mean, we got other players that can fill in. Give the kid a breather. Verdugo's another one. Verdugo is another one whose bat has been ice cold, man. Great fielder, cannon of an arm. Had an incredible April and May, and he has just been slumping ever since. He has been slumping ever since. He's 2 for his last 24, I think, at the plate. It's been awful. Why don't you start Trent Grisham on the game? And Verdugo and Volpe just need a breather, man. I like them both. They just need a breather. They've been terrible at the plate. Hopefully that reverses today. We have an opportunity to take first place. Glaber, that drops in. Leadoff single for Glaber. Way back, another cellar dweller at first. Ozzie accounted for. Way back's in the basement. What's going on, way back? Just getting underway here. The Yankees in Cleveland battle the first place teams, even though the Yankees will be in first place when they win today, way back. They have to win today. They have to win today, and they'll be in first place. So we got Glaber on first. Juan Soto's coming up. We've been so reliant on Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. It's amazing that, oh my gosh, first pitch, that is out of here. Juan Soto, first pitch, 2-run homer. He led off last night. Well, his first at bat last night was a home run. Tonight, it's a 2-run homer. His 36th home run of the year. Pay Juan Soto. Pay Juan Soto. Pay Juan Soto. You can't have this guy here for 1 year. Last night, he hit a home run. Judge hit one back-to-back. They went up 2-0. You guys know the rest of the story. But this is where all our runs are coming from. Soto and Judge. Now, here comes Aaron Judge is coming up. All due respect to Giancarlo Stanton. He just came back off the injury a couple weeks ago, and he's been starting to hit too. But our bottom of the order's got to get on the ball. Austin Wells, another one who has been hitting, but since Trevino's come back, Boone hasn't been playing Wells. He's playing him today, but goodness, man, it's like his second game in the last 6. Here's Aaron Judge right now. Bruin, OG cellar dweller accounted for. Bruin's in the basement. What's going on, Bruin? Oh, Judge just missed that. Fastball down the middle. Warning track power on that. That's an out. He just missed that. Soto, first pitch, clobbered that ball. You can't let this guy walk. We got Soto for 1 year. You can't let this guy walk. Can't let him walk. He's too valuable. Because the Mets, Uncle Steve Cohen, he'll take him. Like I said, you guys know I like the Mets. I like the Mets, but I mean, I want him on the Yankees. That's my number one. Gunner, Judge and Soto are like the 90s of the reason you're winning. I wish they were like the 90%. I thought you said like the 90s. I wish it was like the 90s. We would be winning. Of course, they're 90% of the reason we're winning. Without them, think about this. We were 11-24. We had a stretch of 11-24. If it wasn't for Judge and there's Stanton hit right up the middle. I told you guys, Stanton's been hitting and Austin Wells is starting to hit. But during that time, Gunner, it was Judge and Soto. Thankfully, Boston was doing terrible and Baltimore was playing terribly. We're still in first place. Well, flip-flopping with Baltimore, but you get my point. We were 11-24. The only team worse than us during that stretch was, of course, those Chicago White Sox. The worst team in the history of the game. I got a crazy stat for you about the White Sox. 1 second. Here comes Austin Wells. Swung at a ball in the dirt. I don't know what he's thinking there. He's got to be a little upset, and I wouldn't blame him. The guy's been playing amazing. He's hitting over 300 in his last 17 games. He's been playing amazing. He's had 16 RBIs. And they sit him down for most of the time that Trevino's back. I don't get it. That's what I don't understand about Aaron Boone. And not sitting Volpe for a game or two here or just sitting him here and there. The guy's ice cold. What a shot. They're showing Soto's shot again. Gunner, yeah, so they are 90% of the reason we're winning. Oh, that's what I was getting to, Gunner. Look at Juan Soto, 8 home runs in the last 9 games. The reason why, without them, we would be like in 4th or 5th place. Oh, the White Sox. Let me get back to that. I'm all over the place right now because I'm watching the beginning here. I want to see what happens. We're in the basement. Well, what else are you supposed to expect? The Wells just struck out. The Chicago White Sox are 42 and a half games out of first place. I didn't check the standings today, so this is as of yesterday. It could even be worse today. 42 and a half games out of first place. Forget that. Just above the White Sox in 4th place is the Detroit Tigers, okay? Detroit Tigers, then the Chicago White Sox. Do you know that the White Sox, to get past the Tigers, they're 30 games behind the Tigers. 30 games behind the team that's in 4th place. Okay, let that sink in. That is insanity. The White Sox in 5th place, for them to move up one level, they're 30 games behind the 4th place Detroit Tigers. That is unreal. That is out of this world insane. Way back, the White Sox used to be the White Stockings, used to be the Orphans. I think that's right. Well, I know my history now because of you, and you're kind of right. You're kind of right way back. It's the White Sox were the White Stockings when they came around, remember, in honor of the Chicago Cubs, who originally were the original White Stockings, who then became the Orphans and then became the Cubs. So the White Sox, correct, used to be the White Stockings. They used that name. But the Orphans, as we learned the other day, way back, the Orphans were the Chicago Cubs name before they became the Cubs. And there's Volpe grounding out to second base and ending the inning. What did I just say about Volpe? So here we are. Our runs are 2-0 because of Juan Soto. The Cubs were the Orphans. Yes, the Cubs were the Orphans right before they became the Cubs. And way back, that all started with what? You asking how they got the White Sox name. We looked up the history, remember? I'll never forget that now. Way back, you'll never forget that. Over there in Australia, when people say, man, you know about the Chicago Cubs? You can say, I know they were the Chicago Orphans. And people are going to think you're just a baseball trivia god. Oh. Basement mascot, ready to go. Rocco wants to say what's up. He's kind of tired tonight, a little bit. He's fighting it. Anyway, basement mascot wants to say what's up. He's got his Aaron Judge jersey on, all ready to go. Where's this New York? Isn't it on the front here? No? There it is. Well, sort of. I'm messing it up. Spending too much time on this. Anyway, there he is, and he's got the symbol on his arm right there. New York, let's go. Judge, let's go. Rocco's ready. We hope you're ready. Bruin, you're not wrong, Gunner. What did Gunner say? Oh, yeah, no, he's not wrong. Definitely not. Rocco, yes. He's fighting it. He's a little tired. He's fighting it. He just gave him his meds. If that ever comes up at trivia night, I'll be all over it. Oh, you'll kill it way back. You will kill it. You'll kill it. Oh, that's funny. Basement mascot is in the building. Yeah, he is, man. He's been a little grouchy today, but again, he's got arthritis and he's old, but he's hanging. He's hanging in there. 14 in October. He'll be 14 in just a couple of months. So Juan Soto just hit the most home runs of his career in one season, 36. Soto is 8 for 29 in his last 29 games, and all 8 are home runs. He went through a bit of a slump against the Tigers. He didn't even get a hit. He was 0 for 10 or 0 for 11 against the Tigers. Didn't even get a hit. So anyway, Cleveland's sitting a little bit better than us. Again, Bruin, I think I mentioned already. I don't know if you were in here or not, but the Mets did beat Baltimore today. Got a little cheap shot in there, just over the first baseman Fry's head. So the man on first, leadoff man on first. Cortez has to pitch a lot of innings tonight. He's got to pitch at least 6 innings. Has to. Our bullpen got depleted last night because Luis Gil better not be hurt for long. Better not be hurt for long. One second. Oh, there's Dez. There's Dez. Let's see if she'll come on. So Josh Naylor's up. Man on first, nobody out. Cortez has been very shaky this year. Marcus Stroman's been shaky this year. It just seems funny. Like other seasons, Yankee fans, like we'd all be freaking out about the postseason coming up, or a bullpen being not the strong bullpen that we're used to having. It's just not. Some guys are really good, but Clay Holmes is not. He's not really good. Double play. Let's go. 1, 2. Boom. Double play. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we needed right there. Double play. So it's been our pitching is just very unstable, man. I mean, Cole will be Cole. He'll be fine. He's come back pretty well from his injury. Rodon has come back on fire again. He was on fire at the beginning of the season. Then he fell off a cliff, and now he's back again, pitching great ball. Clark Schmidt, we need him back. But our pitching, man, I mean, our bullpen went into the 12th inning, and not for nothing. Last night, we had plenty of chances to score. We were 1 for 16. 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position. And there was last night during the regular game before the extra innings, we had Volpe on third base. No, I think it was Verdugo. Whatever. We had a man on third with nobody out. We had tied the game 3-3, and no one could get him home. Can you imagine that? No one could get him home. I think it was Volpe on third. No one could get him home. Awful. Embarrassing. Terrible. And that was just 3-3. I said, watch that come back to bite him later in the game, and it sure did. I mean, how many times I've seen the Yankees this year with bases loaded, no outs, and can't even score a run? First and third, no out, can't score a run. Second and third, 1 out, can't score a run. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Clay Holmes has blown 10 games as a closer this year. 10 games. Can you imagine if he had just – and in 10 of those blown saves, I think we've lost 6 of them. 4 or 6, something around there. But anyway, can you imagine the Yankees would at least have a 3-4 game lead right now? Like Cleveland's lucky. They got swept by the Brewers, but they got a 4-game lead over the Twins and the Royals, I'm pretty sure. Let me check the standings. Pretty sure that's what's going on. I was sure. Oh, there it is. Cleveland has a 3.5 game over the Twins and Kansas City. How about Kansas City Royals? 70-56 this year. So, yeah, 97 minus 65 is what, 32? So Chicago is 32 games behind the 4th place Dodgers. Detroit Tigers. What am I talking about? Chicago's 31-97. 31-97. 43.5 games out of first place. Detroit is just above them at 61-65. Chicago has a .242 winning percentage. I don't care about the White Sox. I'm just fascinated by them this year. This is a historic year for the White Sox. Historic. Remember, the 1962 Mets are the worst team in baseball history. They were 40-120. They have a legitimate excuse, though. They were an expansion team. In 1962, that was their first year of existence. That has a legitimate excuse for being 40-120 losses. 40 wins, 120 losses. Chicago's on pace to beat that. They are 31-97. So they're 9 games away Yeah, 9 games away from at least tying the worst record. Here's Verdugo up now. He's hitting 230 on the year, 10 home runs. He was 0 for 5 last night. I don't understand what's going on with Verdugo. I like him, and I like the pickup from Boston. But he's a free agent after this year. I don't know if the Yankees are going to pick him back up unless he better turn it on, because I don't really want to lose him. I know they got Jason Dominguez coming up. I'm sure Trent Grisham. I don't know if he's a free agent or not. We got guys here. Verdugo's a great fielder, man. That guy's got a cannon for an arm, man. I've seen him throw people out at home plate, throwing them out at second base. Guy could definitely play the field. His bat is ice cold. Ice cold. Hold on. All right, it's 2-2 right now. Gunnar, I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, wow. Is it good? I guess it's hilarious if you saw it twice. I like Deadpool. I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one. It looked like it would be good, man. I want to see that because I'm not a big, hold on. Not big Batman and Iron Man and all those kind of movies, the superhero movies. I'm not really into them. X-Men I liked all of the X-Men. Great movies from first right on through. I liked all the X-Men. I did like Batman with Heath Ledger. That was a good one. I forget which one that was, but that was a really good one. Look at that. Verdugo struck out. A pitch right down the middle, man. I don't understand what's going on with him. Come on. He's just so ice cold. What is the problem? Why can't Boone sit Verdugo and sit Volpe for one game? Just let him reset. What is the problem? I don't get it. Here's Oswald Peraza, who was called up from AAA after Jazz Chisholm got hurt. Jazz should be back soon. He didn't need surgery. And thank goodness we got that guy for 2 more years. Jazz Chisholm is a spark plug for this team. I got a friend of mine. You guys see him in here. Fuzzy Bear. Froge. Fuzzy Bear. He is a diehard Miami Marlins, Florida Panthers, Miami Dolphins, and Miami Heat. He's diehard Miami. Everything. He hated that he lost Jazz Chisholm. Hated it, and hated it more that he came to the Yankees. As great as the Yankees is, he always has that one thing over me, which is the 2003 Marlins beat the Yankees in the World Series. He'll always have that over me. It doesn't matter rings or how many we have. They beat us, and there's nothing I can say. And his Panthers just knocked out my Rangers in the playoffs in the championship round, man. We got to get something here. Peraza just grounded out. 2 quick outs. Way back, where's the season at, JB? Playoffs soon? Playoffs will be starting at the beginning of October baseball. So, no, we're getting there, though. We're getting there way back. Getting there, but not yet. Not yet. I know the finals starts for footy. This is the last week of the season's this week, round 24. Ben Rice just flew out. Ben Rice, by the way, has fallen off a cliff. Speaking of guys that fell off a cliff, Ben Rice hit 3 home runs against the Red Sox. That seems like an eternity ago. And this guy can't buy a hit now. Can't buy a hit. But DJ needed a night off. They gave it to him. Yeah, you can't buy a hit, man. So right now we got I'm going to say about 30 games left way back. There's probably about 30 games left, but you got to remember most teams play 6 games a week. Yeah, most teams play about 5 to 6 games a week, so it goes fast. We only got a few weeks left in the season. I don't know what happened here. I just had it in front of me, man, and I lost it. All right, the last game of the season for the Yankees is Sunday, September 29th. They wrap it up with a series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Wow, that's interesting. We end the season with a series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Wow, that's weird for the end of the season. We do have a big series. Here you go. Tuesday, September 24th, 25th, and 26th. We have a 3-game series at home against the Baltimore Orioles, who we are tied. Well, we're half a game back at first. If we win today, we'll take over first place. The Mets beat Baltimore 2 out of 3. We got to take this game tonight. And you guys know Cleveland is no pushover team. They're in first place also. The Yankees were 8-7 against the doormats that we played. That's embarrassing. We had a soft schedule. Soft schedule. We played Toronto. No offense, Gunner. We played Toronto. Took 2 out of 3 there. This month of August, up until this series against Cleveland, we should have taken off. We played Toronto, who's below 500. We took 2 out of 3 from them. The Los Angeles Angels are below 500. We only beat them 1 out of 3. The Texas Rangers, even though they are defending champions, we took 2 out of 3 from them, but they're below 500 team. The White Sox, we took 2 out of 3 from them, thank God, because the White Sox in that first game beat us 12-2. 12-2. Now, we made them pay for that the next 2 days, but beating them total of 14-3, but still. We should have swept that series. That's my point. Then we dropped 2 out of 3 to Detroit, who has a losing record. We were 8-7 in that stretch against Toronto, the Angels, Texas, and then Chicago. 8-7. That's unacceptable. Those are all teams with losing records. Unacceptable. It's because of our bullpen. And some of our starting pitching, quite frankly, it has not been that great. Cortez is pitching really well right now, but you guys know the past few times I've been on here, and I compliment somebody, they blow games, or they go back, revert back to what they are. Hey, look at Paul Simon right behind home plate. Paul Simon's at the game, right behind the plate. Well, kind of to the side of the plate, but still, wow. Deep left field. Verdugo got it. Perfect. 1 out. Yep, there you go. Gunner. Playoffs are usually around October. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Yep, I'm looking forward to getting back into the football, basketball, and hockey seasons, man. Jets, Rangers, and Knicks. Been a long time since I looked forward to a Jets and a Knicks season at the same time. Because they're both teams that usually jokes, and they're not anymore, and that's what's awesome. That is what's awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Yep. All right. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. The few that are in here. Yeah, it's time to get back into all of that stuff right now. There's 2 outs, nobody on base. Cortez is looking good right now. He's got 28 pitches through 3 innings. Looking good. Now, Gunner or Bruin, you guys have been paying attention. You've been watching the Matthew Judon situation with the Falcons. Did you see? You guys know what I'm leading to? You know what I'm leading up to? How that's interesting for the Jets situation. Judon, besides the Patriots are going to be in last place even if Judon stayed. I'm not talking about that. Not talking about that. Two 2-0 right now, top of the 3rd inning. This game's already moving along. It's a half an hour in, 3rd inning. But 2-0 Yankees still. I'd like to keep building on the lead and actually have a relaxed game for once. It's been a little while since we had a nice relaxed game. Yeah, Bruin, did you see do you guys see how the Matthew Judon getting traded from the Patriots to the Falcons because he was he was holding out on the Patriots. He wanted a new contract. I don't know if it got ugly or not. Guy's a great linebacker. Played for the organization for a while. But did you guys see how when he went to the Falcons, this is going to sound very familiar, told him that they're not doing an extension on a contract right now. Not doing an extension right now, that he would come here to play. And Judon said he wouldn't hold out on his brand new team because they only know his history. The Falcons only know his history. They don't know him as a player for them. The teammates don't know him. The coaches don't know him. Know him as a player there. So he said it would be unfair for me to think that they should give me an extension without showing him how I play first, the kind of teammate I am, all of that stuff. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that was the gist of it. Who does that sound like? Reddick, not playing for the Jets right now, holding out. He has no leverage, zero. The Jets are a top three. They're a top three defense last season. Yes, we lost Bryce Huff. The Jets are going to be a top 5 defense with or without him. Don't get me wrong. I want him. I want Reddick on the team. Not hating on him or anything. I understand, but they told him they weren't going to give him an extension. What's really weird to me is why wouldn't he hold in? Why wouldn't he at least show up to practice and just not practice? He won't get fined that way. He won't even do that. So Judon showing the class going to the Falcons and playing for those reasons I just said. Reddick, it's true. Nobody even knows him on the team. They just know his history, which is great. The guy's a sack artist. There's no doubt. He's one of the better edge rushers in the game. It's kind of like he's holding out on the wrong team. I'm taking this away. My son said this to me. And yes, he's taking it away. Yep, Medicaid. Yeah, he's taking it away. He's doing it on the wrong team. The Jets, 2-3 years ago, they probably would have signed him. They're not desperate for him. He's a compliment. Reddick will be a compliment to an already stacked defense. He's not the savior of the defense. He's a compliment. And trust me, again, I want him on the team, and I know he will. But if he held out the whole season, you guys realize that, he loses his $14.5 million for the year. He'll never get that back. He's going to be 31 next year. And, oh, by the way, the Jets own the right to him next year. Even though he's a free agent at the end of this year, if he doesn't play, they still own the rights to him next year. The Jets have the leverage, not Reddick. It's really weird, but I think that, honestly, he doesn't want to play in the preseason. We're going to get past the last preseason game this Saturday against the Giants, and next week, watch things start to come together. But the Jets already told him they're not talking to him unless he shows up. Not necessarily practice, but he's got to show up. He hasn't even shown up. He hasn't done walkthroughs, OTAs, mini camps, nothing. Now, it's very strange and very odd, but the Jets have been up front. Finally, they've been up front from day one. Whether they should have extended them beforehand or not, or it was a verbal, or it's a he said, she said, all of that. I'm just saying Matthew Judon doing what he just did didn't help Reddick's case. It has nothing to do with it, but it kind of does. It kind of gives the Jets even more leverage. Where am I at? Bruin, can't wait for hockey season to start. Oh, man. Hockey and basketball. Can't wait. Juan Soto up again. 1 out, bottom of the third inning. I guess Glaber flew out. Yeah, Glaber flew out. So here we are, relying on Soto and Judge to get something done because we're up 2-0. We need more runs than that. Way back, my 2 grandsons, 10 years old, loves the Celtics, and his brother Gus, 7 years old, loved the Golden State Warriors. Wow. That must have been fun a couple years ago when the Warriors played the Celtics in the NBA Finals way back. Must have been fun there. The Warriors won that, and Steph Curry proved that he can win being the leader of the team. All the talk that he couldn't win because he wasn't the leader of the team, well, he proved that 2 years ago, and they beat the Celtics. And now they have the championship this year, but they won't have it anymore because the Knicks, Bruin, the Knicks. Well, that's the Yankees there, but the Knicks. And the poster there, which you can't really see from where you're at, but you guys know, and you watch my channel enough. That's the great Charles Oakley right there. The great Charles Oakley from the 90s Knicks, who made the playoffs every single season in the 90s. 2 finals. Unfortunately, they didn't win either one of them. Gunner, the Jets D-line will have to play pretty poorly for this to go Reddick's way. No doubt, Gunner. We got Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Javon Kinlaw now. Dude, he's a compliment to the defense, and I want him to play. I'm not hating on him, but he's going to end up playing. He doesn't have any leverage. Judge's numbers this year, 331, 46 home runs, like 114 RBIs. That is insanity. That is insanity. And he's up right now with Soto on first base. Judge is hitting. I think I threw that off a little bit, guys. Sorry, let me do it again. He's batting 332, 45 home runs and 114 RBIs, 463 OBP and 100. Dude, he's like first in almost every category. He's up for the Triple Crown. I think only Bobby Witt of the Kansas City Royals has a better batting average. I think Bobby Witt has a better batting average. Otherwise, Judge would be going for the Triple Crown. And he is still going for it. He leads in home runs and RBIs. Bobby Witt. Pretty sure Bobby Witt in the American League has a better batting average. Let me look. Bobby Witt is hitting 352. Judge is hitting 332, did I say? 352. 25 home runs, 92 RBIs. Bobby Witt is freaking incredible, man. Wow. I didn't know he's hitting 352. I knew he's hitting more than Judge, but not that much more. Wow. Crazy. 352. All right, it's 2-2 on Judge. Uh-oh. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto yet again. Boom, 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 boom. Aaron Judge, 2-run home run. Yankees up 4-0. That ball went out of the park at 104 miles an hour. 46 on the year, 115th RBI. Judge and Soto are the reasons we're up 4-0. What did the New York Mets do when they played against the Yankees? By the way, they swept the Yankees all 4 games. They didn't pitch to Judge. Carlos Mendoza, the Mets manager, was the Yankees bench coach for a lot of years when Aaron Judge was there. He became the Mets manager. It's like, we're just not going to pitch to him. We'll make the rest of the team behind him beat us. Now, the answer to that for a little while, the question was, well, why not put Soto behind Judge? Because you're not going to pitch around Judge to get to Soto. Maybe you would. I don't know. But now that Stanton is behind Judge, the Yankees, as far as I know, are the only team in the major leagues to have 3 guys with over 20 home runs: Stanton, Judge, and Soto. And Stanton's hitting 242 with 20 bombs, and he missed like 6-7 weeks. He was having a hell of a season before he got hurt. Giancarlo Stanton said at the end of last season he really hated the year that he had last year, and he was embarrassed by it. He worked hard, and it was all because of his muscle. He gets hurt a lot, and when you're that in shape, I think he has like around 1% body fat. And his tendons were too tight. He loosened up. He said he was going to have a better year this year, and he has had a much better season this year by his standards. Much better season. Can you imagine a day where they pitch around somebody to get to Stanton? His kryptonite is the slider off the plate. He swings at that almost every time. Where are we at? Jets D-line, I read that. Way back, they're saving up to go to a game in the U.S. one day. That's awesome. Way back, have them come to a Knicks versus the Celtics. The Knicks are going to overtake the Celtics. It's true, Bruin. True story. True story. True story, Bruin. I'll say the Knicks make it to the conference finals this season. Yes, they'll make it that far, and we're going to take it. You know what's frustrating for us, Bruin, as hockey fans? Your Boston Bruins and my New York Rangers have been like the top team in the league like the last 3 seasons, and the Florida Panthers beat us both. Beat us both. When people say the Panthers got lucky or they had it, no, they didn't have an easy streak. They beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in round 1. You know, who just won 2 Stanley Cups just a couple of years ago, back to back. Then beat the Boston Bruins, who were one of the top teams in hockey, and just last year was the overall wins total, regular season champions, and then beat the President's Trophy, the number 1 team in hockey, New York Rangers, in the 3rd round. That's no easy road to the Stanley Cup Finals. Lightning, Bruins, Rangers. That is a tough, tough road, and they did it. They did it. I got nothing. When my man Fuzzy Bear, when he's in here, I have nothing to say. How can I say that? They had a tough road. They beat all the time. Edmonton doesn't match up. Edmonton was a tough team, but I mean, Lightning, Rangers. I mean, right? Lightning, Bruins, and Rangers. That's a pretty tough freaking road. Yeah, it's different conferences way back. Celtics and Warriors are different conferences. The Warriors are a West Coast team. The Celtics are an East Coast team. Now they could meet during the season. They might play once or twice, but for them to have a big matchup, like my New York Knicks and the Boston and Bruins, Boston Celtics are in the same division. They're in the same Eastern Conference, so we meet up tons of times. Mr. Marine, the OG of OG cellar dwellers. Mr. Marine in the basement. How's everyone doing on this cool Wednesday? Oh, Mr. Marine, is this weather great or what? 74 degrees today and yesterday. Amazing weather. Amazing weather. Bring on the fall. I'm ready. This was a really hot summer this year. Usually June doesn't get as hot as it does. We had a hot middle of June to like the very beginning of August. It was hot more than not, like high 90s, 98, 99. I'm sick of it and I'm over it. These past couple of weeks have been beautiful, especially these last 2 days. Absolutely beautiful. What's up, dwellers? Lockport, OG cellar dweller accounted for. Lockport's in the basement. Lockport, you have the same color profile as Mr. Marine, so I'm looking at it like, you just said hello, Mr. Marine, and I realize it's you, Lockport. You two have the same color profile. So it's funny. I get confused when I look at it quickly. Everybody's saying, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Yeah, no doubt. We're back in the basement getting ready for some football, Lockport, hockey, and basketball. For once, I'm excited about all of my New York teams. Like, that never happens. Never happens. Especially when the Jets and the Knicks have real teams. Usually for years they were both embarrassments. Now they both have real teams. Hey, Kings fan. Kings fan, what is happening? Welcome into the basement, man. Thanks for subscribing and hitting that like button. Thanks, man. We're all just fans in here talking to fans. And you're a Yankee fan. Great start. Great start, man. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Kings fan. Oh, Punjab Kings fan. Got you, brother. Got you. I see where you're at. Thank you, man. Thanks for it. Soto times Judge is the best player combination. Yeah, it could. If they sign Soto, Kings fan, they'll be the greatest combo in Yankee history, maybe in the history of the game. These guys are ridiculous. Do you guys know the only 2 players that have more back-to-back home runs? Soto and Judge have 5 back-to-back this season. There's only one combo in Yankee history. One combo to have more than that. Does anybody know who that is? There's one combo in Yankee history that has more back-to-back home runs than Soto and Judge, who are tied with basically everybody else. And that combo was part of a World Series team where everybody in this chat is alive. So this isn't somebody back in the 1910s or the 20s. No, this happened recently. You know what? I'll even give it to you guys. I'll give you the hint of hints. These 2 guys back to back have more, and I think it's 9 for the season. were on the 2009 World Series champion Yankees. There's your hint. They were on the 2009 World Series champion Yankees. Now I got to check myself. I know one of them was. I think the other guy was. Hold on. Yes, he was. He was. Okay, they both were on the 2009 Yankees. I knew one of them was. I actually was pretty confident they both were, but they both were. A-Rod and Teixeira. Lockport, you got half right. Bruin, you're wrong. Teixeira is one of them. A-Rod is not the other. A-Rod is not the other. Teixeira is one. You guys got half of it right. Hit the like button for JB. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the basement. Yes, Punjab Kings fan. Yes, welcome to the basement. And are the Yankees winning? Didn't check. They are winning 4-0, Mr. Marine. Thanks to Soto and Judge. And by the way, I'll get back to that in a minute, Mr. Marine. I'll get back to that in a minute. But they are winning. But I'm going to get back to something else with you in a second. A-Rod, I told you, top 64 here to 18 Celsius, 64. Thank you, way back, for breaking that down for us Americans, because when you say 18 degrees Celsius, all of us are already like looking that up. Like, what? What? Okay, thanks for breaking that down, 64 Fahrenheit. Thanks for breaking that down way back, because we all would have been looking that up. I'm a 4 decades Jet fan. How smart could I be? I'd have to look that up. Gunner, good. Still waiting to hear back from the dentist. They're waiting to hear back. Oh, that's right. You got that wisdom teeth issue going on. Kings fan, Nick's got a good chance to. Oh, man, you're not kidding, brother. You're not kidding. I'm pumped up. We are pumped up here. I do the Knicks games and the Rangers games and the Jets and any big matchup that's going on. Just fans speaking to fans, man. So welcome in, brother. No, not A-Rod, Bruin. Not A-Rod. Believe it or not, it's not A-Rod. And I saw this last night on the Yankee game. I didn't do the game last night because I came on late. I could have picked up with you guys about the 5th inning. I'm glad I didn't, because it went 12 innings. I figured I was going to pick it up with you guys in the 5th inning, and I just said, I fell out of the mood. I got unmotivated. I'll admit it to you. I was sitting right there. See what I was sitting right there debating if I was going to go on or not. But by the time I turned the game on, it was the 5th inning. And I stayed sitting right there. All right, Yankees out of the inning. It's 4-0. Cortez is pitching a great game. That's what we need. We unloaded the entire bullpen last night. Wisdom teeth, all that's nothing to play around with, Gunner. You get that in an abscess tooth or anything like that, man, that is nasty. Get your face puffed out. It's poisonous, too. You don't want that going through your veins and getting into your heart, man. That's really – abscess is no joke. Teeth can turn into some real serious problem. Real serious problem. Kings fan from Jersey. There you go, from New Jersey. That's what we're talking about, man. So – are you a Giants or a Jets fan or somebody else? You got to let us know, King, because everybody else in here is longtime basement dwellers, man. Longtime basement dwellers. Everybody that you're in here with. So you are the newest one in here by a long shot. So you got to tell us, Kings fan, what are you? Giants, Jets. We already know you're Knicks. Bruin, was Posada still on that team then? No, and it wouldn't be Posada anyway. It's not Posada. This guy played for, if I tell you one of the teams, you're going to know. This guy started his career with the Kansas City Royals. This player started his career with the Kansas City Royals. Very well-known player. Played for the Royals. Then he played for this other team, which I can't tell you because then you'll definitely know who it is. And then I think he played for the Tigers and the Oakland A's at some point or another. But I can't tell you the other team because you'll know who he is in a heartbeat. The only other hint I can give you, it's not Matsui. Not Matsui. Nope. The only other hint I can give you, Todd Zeal. That's Todd Zeal. They're giving me a trivia question up here. I'm going with Todd Zeal, a player that played for the Twins, the Mets, the Indians, the Pirates, the Cubs. Oh, no, maybe not Todd Zeal. Anyway, one of the teams this guy played for, I can't tell you. You'll know. He went back to and got booed, horrendously booed. And he was part of this team he was a part of, made baseball history in the playoffs. I don't know how much more of hints I can give you guys. But you guys know who he is. No, there you go, North Jersey. So you are I'm a diehard Jets fan, but I like the Giants. I'm going to assume you're a Giants fan. Are you a Giants fan, Kings fan? Sorry to say this. I'm an Eagles fan. If you don't like, you guys don't like the Eagles. The Eagles have nothing to do with the Jets. Bryce Huff is a good pickup for you guys, though. Bryce Huff is a good pickup for you guys. Regardless of what they're doing right now, the guy is quick off the edge. Ask Gunner. Gunner's a Buffalo Bills fan. He knows all about Bryce Huff. Josh Allen knows all about Bryce Huff. That guy is fast off the edge, man, and he's only in there. He's a home run hitter. He's only in there to get the quarterback. He's not good against the run or situational plays, but if you need a quarterback sacked, he's in there. Gunner can vouch. He's a Bills fan. He knows all about him. Josh Allen's not going to miss Bryce Huff. Anthony Volpe's up. It's full count right now, bottom of the fourth inning. Yankees up 4-0. Cortez is pitching a great game. He still needs to get some more innings out. We need as many runs on there so we don't get Clay Holmes in the game so he can blow it. Oh. No, Eagles don't bother me, man. I'm not a Bryce Huff. Yeah, look out for Bryce Huff, the Kings fan. They have nothing to do with the Jets, really. I hate the Patriots, and I hate the Cowboys just because. JB, you keep missing my question. With all the conferences, are there a lot of teams that have never played each other? Oh, sorry, way back. Did I miss your question? I'm sorry, man. We're in the basement way back. You know how it goes. We're in the basement, man. Things are going to happen. You don't go any lower in the basement. No. Every season, everybody plays each other at least once. In baseball, too. In football, that can happen. In the NFL, there are seasons where some teams don't play each other. But hockey, basketball, and baseball, everybody plays each other at least once. At least once way back. Mr. Marine, Gunner, get it done fast because it could lead to serious, getting the gums, get infected. There you go. Yeah, you can't play around with that, man. Here's Verdugo up, who desperately needs a hit. Verdugo desperately needs a hit. I mean, he needs a hit. I'm trying to listen to Paul O'Neill right now. I think he said he's 2 for 27. Hold on. Yeah, so he's just saying Soto and Judge. There's no doubt they're carrying this entire team. As soon as I forgot who it was. Forgot who what was. Oh, okay. You guys give up? Oh, Gardini. Gardini's in here. I'm going Gardini. OG cellar dweller accounted for. Gardini, how you been, man? How you been, brother? Man, it's been a long time. A long time, man. How you been, man? How's everything? Gardini, I'm going to throw you in here. I almost gave the answer. I've almost gave the answer, but now you're here. I'm going to throw the question again. And I'll give you the same hint I gave them, but you may not need it. You're pretty good with this stuff, too. Soto and Judge have 5 back-to-back home runs. That ties every other Yankee tandem except for one. What tandem has more back-to-back home runs than Soto and Judge in Yankee history? They played on the 2009 World Series team together. I gave them the same hint. I'll give it to you. Who? Boom, there it is. Gardini got it. Johnny Damon. Johnny Damon. Nailed it. Gardini, you nailed it. He comes in strong. Haven't seen Gardini in a minute. He comes in the basement strong with the answer. Strong with the answer. OG status. Hassan is either going to – oh, wait. Let me back up. Gunner, Gardini, yep, okay, got that. Kings fan, Jets got Hassan Reddick. Yep, and eventually he'll play. He'll play eventually, but like I said, what Matthew Judon just did, I said at the beginning of when I just came on, I'll say it again. Matthew Judon going to the Falcons after fighting with the Patriots for an extension said he's going to play for the Falcons without the extension because they don't know him. They know his history. His teammates don't know him. His coaching staff doesn't know him. The ownership doesn't know him. He said it wouldn't be fair. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it wouldn't be fair to hold out on a team that knows nothing about him except his history. Hello, Hassan Reddick. I mean, he doesn't have any leverage with the Jets. The Jets have all the leverage. He holds out the year. He gives up $14.5 million. He comes in the next season, 31 years old, and the Jets still have the rights to him because he wouldn't have played this year. Makes zero sense. I think I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. It's my own opinion. I think we get past the final preseason game with the Giants, and then he's going to start coming back. Maybe he just doesn't want to play in the preseason. I just don't understand why he's not holding in. Why are you taking all these fines? Why aren't you just going to practice and not practicing like everybody else does? Clay Holmes is so bad. Yeah, Kings fan. He's horrible. 10 blown saves, and some of them were like 3-run leads. My biggest killer was when we played the Red Sox and should have taken 2 out of 3. Not the last series, the one before that. 2 strikes, 2 outs, and he gives up a home run. Gives up a game-ending home run or game-tying home run. Whatever it was, he blew the game. We ended up losing anyway. Gunner, I usually don't take much from the preseason, but the Steelers' offense looks awful. I don't take much from the preseason either. Not much. I don't really – you guys know me long enough now. I don't really watch the preseason. Kings fan, that bullpen yesterday was all used. Nestor needs to go at least 6. Amen. Amen. He has to. He has to. I love Luke Weaver, by the way. Luke Weaver should be our closer. Hassan is either going to half-ass his reps, get paid, or Douglas will finally give in. Well, the Jets have told him, Gardini, that if he doesn't show up, they're not even going to talk to him. Like, I don't even know. That's what I don't understand. Why isn't he just showing up? If he shows up, they'll talk to him. They said they're not going to negotiate with him until he shows up. It's really weird. But, I mean, they've been upfront with him from the beginning, and it's a he said, she said. It's a verbal thing, whatever, but he hasn't done walkthroughs, no mini camps, no OTAs. He doesn't even know his teammates. So Judon doing what he just did, going to the Falcons and playing without the extension, even though he's holding on to the Patriots, is for all the reasons I just said that he said. Gunner, I usually don't take much. I just read that. Hope all's well. Damon and Teixeira, read that. I've been jumping around. Holy crap. That's why I missed your thing way back. Damon and Teixeira, yeah, you nailed it. Completely forgot about Damon. Well, Bruin, if it makes you feel any better, when they posed that trivia question yesterday, I knew Teixeira and I said A-Rod also. I didn't get the Johnny Damon part either. So don't feel bad. And I'll admit it. You guys know I don't know everything. A-Rod hit 4th with Jeter, Damon, and Teixeira going 1, 2, 3, if I remember right. That sounds right. That sounds right. I thought it was Damon Jeter. I thought it was Damon Jeter, A-Rod, Teixeira, and then Matsui. So I was completely off on that. Raleigh, OG cellar dweller, accounted for. Our second former Marine, gracing the basement, Mr. Marine and Raleigh. What is going on, Raleigh, man? Good to see you in here, brother. You see who's back? Gardini's back. Gardini is back. Here's Glaber, 2 men on. Come on, Glaber, get on so we can get to Soto, our run, you know. And last night, by the way, the Yankees should have won that game. When we tied the game at 3, I believe Volpe was on third base with nobody out. No one get him home. How many times this year have we seen that? Bases loaded, nobody out, don't even get a run. Don't even get a run. First and third, nobody out. Don't get anybody home. I've seen it countless times. We had many opportunities last night to win that game. We were 1 for 16. 1 for 16 with runners on base, and 12 of them were in scoring position. We got one home. One. And that was the same inning that we tied it to make it 3-3 and couldn't get anybody home from third with nobody out. Pathetic. Really pathetic. That's why the Eagles traded Reddick, because he's still crying for money. Yeah. All the OGs sliding in now. Yep. Kings fan is our newest guy. He just showed up today, Gardini. He is our newest person in the basement by far, but he's subbed, and he's going to be a part of it now because he's a Knicks fan. He is an Eagles fan, Gardini. Now, Kings fan, the BK Reaper, that's Gardini. He's a Giants fan. You guys should have fun. Glaber, run. He beat him. Glaber beat him out. He got an infield hit. Glaber grounded to second base and beat the pitcher to the mound. Hold on. Did he beat him? Oh, no, he's out. If they review that, he's out. I'll take that back. He called him safe, and that wasn't even close. The pitcher's foot is on the bag, and Glaber's hit it like a half a second. Nah, he's out. If they review that, he is out. Kings fan, Eagles had that 10-1 collapse last year where they were locked from issues that thing fell apart. Maybe Reddick was a locker room problem and won. I don't know. I know who beat the Eagles when they were 6-0. Who was that? Jets. With no Sauce and no DJ Reed. Somehow we still won. Juan Soto's up. They didn't challenge. There's 2 outs. Now the bases are loaded. Cleveland didn't challenge that. Torres was out. Soto's up now at the bases loaded. Why would Cleveland not challenge that? Are they insane? Are they insane not challenging that? Torres was easily out. Oh, man, if Soto hits a grand slam or just gets more runs in, there's 2 outs. Why wouldn't you challenge that? Soto's career at the bases loaded is 310. Grand slam, 70 ribbies. Guy's a machine. You got to pay him. Jets have a good team this year if A-Rod stays healthy. Yep. Hey, they got Tyrod Taylor as their backup. We got a real veteran backup. As long as he gets hurt too, but I'm just saying. We got a real veteran backup this year. I mean, all he has to do is get the ball to Garrett, Breece Hall, Mike Williams. Our defense is solid. I'm not even worried about them. The culture in the NFL is everyone trying to get paid like, yeah. They aren't this toxic culture, just not for the NFL, where it should be about the team and not the player. Like Jalen Brunson, anyone? Gardini? How about Jalen Brunson? Talk about stepping up because he wants to bring a ring to New York so the team can build around him. Jalen Brunson left $100 million plus on the table. You don't get many guys like that anymore. Brunson is just the ultimate wanting to win. Who knew? I remember when the Knicks, when they got Brunson after they missed on Donovan Mitchell, and the media said, here we go again with the Knicks trying to sell. Soto basically bunted down third base line. They had the shift on. 3 runs scored. Soto's caught in a rundown. That was a bases clearing double. He's caught in a rundown. He's going to be out. Bases clearing double, 3 runs, 7-0 Yankees. He basically swung and just tapped the ball down the third base line because they were in the shift and nobody was covering that side of the field. He got caught in a rundown. He swung but then held up and half swung it, went right down the line. See, that shift would have never worked in the 80s, the 90s, and even before that. But I'm just saying from the era that everybody in here is from. 80s, 90s, 2000s. Why? Because people could bunt. Nobody would dare put a shift on because people could bunt. That's how you get rid of the shift. Bunt. Insane. Hey, Mick, another Aussie accounted for in the basement. What's going on, Mick? Day back to you, sir. What's happening, Mick? Mick, are you still in the penthouse? I think you are in the tipping. I think you're still at the top of the ladder there, man. Me, I went all in this week because I'm 5 or 4 behind Lou. Lou really wants to beat me in this. Unless he has a massive meltdown this week, he should beat me in that. But I'm not getting the wooden spoon either. As the great Jerry Was a Race Car Driver's song, Primus, says, I get no checkered flag, but I didn't finish in last. Never did get no checkered flag, but I never did finish in last. Primus, Jerry Was a Race Car Driver. Great song, great line. Glaber needs to run faster, and Verdugo needs to. Oh, yeah. And I'm telling you, Kings fan, I mean, why didn't Cleveland challenge that? Are they insane? They just gave up 3 more runs when that could have been inning over a 4-0 lead. It's simple. Jalen Hurts needs to show last year was a fluke, and he's not a turnover-prone player who's getting shielded by one of the best O-lines and wide receiver rooms in football. Yeah, that game, that was surprising to me, Hurts had against the Jets. Remember, Sauce and DJ Reed were not playing. They picked him off 4 times. 4 times. Or at least 3 of them. They didn't even run the ball that game. Like, Cortez throwing in a tremendous game. He's only given up 1 hit. None of the Indians are trying to lose, I guess. I know. I still call them that, too. I still call them the Indians. And the Mets beat a walk-off home run again. Winker today, walk-off homer. They beat Baltimore. That's what we needed. Thank you very much. Now we just got to go. Gunnar, Tyrod isn't an elite passer, but he rarely makes mistakes. Right. They can go to the playoffs with Tyrod. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to be the star. When people say Aaron Rodgers, I was watching Colin Cowherd the other day, and he said something that really made a lot of sense. Aaron Rodgers is not the Jets' savior coming back. Their stars are Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner. These are his stars on the Jets. Rodgers just has to get these guys on offense the ball. Breece Hall had 994 yards rushing last year behind a line that was 3rd worst in giving up sacks. They were porous, 994 yards and 76 receptions out of the backfield with 4 different quarterbacks. Garrett Wilson had over 1,000 yards receiving with 4 different quarterbacks and that same horrendous line. 2 years in a row, Garrett Wilson has done that. Over 1,000 yards receiving being the main guy. What's he going to do with Rodgers back there? So I do agree with what Colin said there, man, because it's true. They have bigger stars. Quinnen Williams is a monster. He's very underrated. If Quinnen Williams played for, like, the Patriots at the time they were winning or the Cowboys, he'd be a household name. Quinnen Williams would be a household name. Guy's a monster up the middle. Where I leave off. Dez, the best cellar dweller along with Rock. Dez is in the base. What's going on, Dez? My basement squad reacts partner and wonderful daughter, Dez. What's going on, Dez? I'm so far behind right now. I'm trying to catch up. The winner gets naming rights, Mick. That's right. It won't be Bagger Dave. We're going to have a new one next year at the end of the season. Tyrod won't lose you a game. He will keep you competitive. You have good skill players. Tyrod can cook. Yeah. Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson. This kid, Mekhi Corley, looking good. Lazard looks like a real receiver again with A-Rod back there. I hate saying A-Rod because A-Rod is Alex Rodriguez. I'm just calling him Rodgers. And you have Breece Hall. And how about Braylon Allen? He's looking good. But again, it's preseason. Let's see what they do in the regular season. They gave up today. Who did? Cleveland? Hey, as long as Cortez keeps pitching the way he's pitching, he is pitching lights out. Nasty Nestor. Remember that nickname he had from 2 years ago? He hasn't been Nasty Nestor last year. Not much this year. Bases clearing, bunt double. Yes, bunt double. Oh, I am way behind. Yeah, Glaber was out, no doubt. I don't do fantasy. It's a good idea, Gardini. You know who'd be all over that, Gardini? You got to hook up with Lou. Lou's got family over. He's not going to be on for a couple of weeks. Lou should be back on with me. I believe the Monday Night Football game with the Jets, he'll be back on. If he can come on before that, great. But Gardini, Lou is a fantasy maniac. He's a fantasy maniac. He loves the fantasy stuff. I don't do fantasy sports. But Gardini, yeah, I'll tell Lou, Gardini. He'll definitely be all over that one, man. Barkley hopefully can get the rock moving, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt for you guys. Man, I know that the Giants, how do you let him? The Giants should have let him, if they're going to not sign him, let him go to like the Raiders or somebody not in the same division. You got to be hyped for Saquon. How could you not be? Yeah, today's everything's perfect. 7-0 is a solid lead, man. We're in the 5th inning. Let's just get it. I don't want to see any runs start because then we're going to bring the bullpen in, and who knows what's going to happen besides Luke Weaver and Uncle Rico. Uh-oh. Another hit. Now, you guys wondering who I'm saying, Uncle Rico? You guys take a good look at Tim Hill on that mound when he comes out of the bullpen. That's Uncle Rico. Tim Hill is Uncle Rico. And if you watch him, he never stands still. He's on the mound. He's like this, shakes around, does this all the time, and then throws that nasty sidearm pitch. He's a good reliever, but he just, every time I see him come out, I think about Napoleon Dynamite and Uncle Rico and saying, I just could throw that football right over them mountains. They put me in, we would have won state. He's Uncle Rico, dude, by far. If you don't know who Tim Hill is, look him up. Tim Hill. He is Uncle Rico. Rodgers is definitely still a top 10 quarterback. Remember last season, by the way, which they seem to rip all the time in Green Bay. The sports media, the haters, they all rip on this last season. He had no receivers and he was playing with a broken thumb. Like, what team did he have? He didn't have a great defense either. This is the best defense Rodgers has ever had. I mean, he didn't have, his supporting cast wasn't that great, right? But again, he doesn't have – he's got enough weapons to where he doesn't have to worry about bombing the ball downfield all the time. Bruin says, what's up, Dez? Barkley either misses the whole season or goes for over 1,000 yards. You're right, Gunnar. There is no in between. There's no in between. Let me catch up on these. Everybody's saying, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Saquon is a shell of a former self, and I really hope he doesn't prove us wrong. I know, Gardini, you're a Giants fan. That really hurts. And you guys know I like the Giants. I go for them. It sucks that he's gone. It really does. Barkley played on a trash Giants O-line his whole career, and we got Smith and A.J. Brown, a good O-line. I expect Barkley does, he does have really good surroundings around him now, so we'll see what he can really do. He does have good surroundings. Quinnen is the 3rd best nose tackle in football behind Dex and Chris Jones. I'll agree with that. Gardini, because I have people telling me he's overrated, that Quinnen Williams is overrated. Where is he overrated? I've had people tell me this multiple times. Quinnen Williams, he's overrated. Overrated how? How is Quinnen Williams overrated? No one can explain that to me because I agree with you right there, Gardini. Behind Chris Jones and Dexter Lawrence, I'm taking Quinnen Williams also. I agree. 100%. There's nobody. Those are the top 3 nose in the league. Those 3 guys right there. There's nobody I'm taking over any one of those 3. I miss you too, Dez. Miss you too. Can't wait to see you this weekend. As long as Saquon doesn't play on turf, he should be fine. Well, that's like the whole league. Manav, what's up? Hey, way back. I'm just catching up to everybody. Boy, I really fell behind. You guys, I tell you what, man, the chat, I look away, come back, it's where it was. Then I look away for like a couple of pitches, and I come back, and there's like this whole thing here. So I'm like way behind. So I'm passing through all the what's up. Hey, Dez. Hey, Mr. Marine. Hey, this. Hey, that. Hey, Manav. Hey, bro. And hey. Dez, Uncle Rico. Dez, he is Uncle Rico. Bruin, you must have seen Tim Hill. He's Uncle Rico. Johnny, a 40-year-old not playing for almost 2 years is going to be a shot in the dark to be great again. But you are right. Rodgers just needs to be better than Zach. Rodgers just needs to play the game. He doesn't – when I say he doesn't have to be the savior, he doesn't have to be the savior. You can hit wide open guys. You got plenty of receivers. You got Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Malachi Corley, who we'll see how he does. Lazard, who he's already used to. Lazard, I think, will be better playing with Rodgers than last year. He was lost without Rodgers. So he just has to be, you know what he can be? What's it called? Come on, what's the term? Like a game manager, but there's another term for it. He just needs to be a game manager. That's it. That's it. That's all he has to do. The defense is there, and the rest of our team is there. Just has to be a game manager. There might be 5 total elite quarterbacks in the NFL coming off a generation. Breeze, Roethlisberger, Brady, Manning, Matt Ryan, Rivers, and they keep trying to prop. Oh, yeah. Everybody now has to be a legend in their at the end of their first season. They have to be a legend. Already they're saying the Chicago Bears. He hit Judge. I think he hit him. Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. They say the Chicago Bears, a lot of these, if you watch enough sports media and these debate shows, Caleb Williams is having a decent preseason, apparently. I don't watch preseason, so I don't know. But it sounds to me like he's having a really good preseason. All of a sudden, the Bears they're a lock to make the playoffs. Caleb Williams is going to be their savior. So I don't know. I mean, they're a lock to make the playoffs, but a team like the Jets is questionable. Like, that's weird. The Bears are suddenly a playoff lock. We haven't seen what Caleb can do today in the real game. They talk about CJ Stroud. Remember Mac Jones a couple years ago? And this isn't just because I don't like the Patriots. He was runner-up for Rookie of the Year. Every week, you saw the best quarterbacks in the game, and Mac Jones was up there. He was already going to be the next Tom Brady. They're already going to win 2 Super Bowls. You guys remember all this talk when Mac Jones' first year? Runner-up for Rookie of the Year, and then Josh McDaniels left. Now he's on the Jaguars. CJ Stroud had a great year last year. Great rookie year. We'll see how he does this year. Bryce Young already, people say he's already a bust. How is Bryce Young a bust? He's on a horrendous team, no supporting cast. They don't give these quarterbacks any time to develop at all. At all. Everybody's got to be a legend right off the bat. People forget that Mahomes didn't start right away. He backed up Alex Smith. Aaron Rodgers didn't start right away. He backed up Favre for a couple of years. Jets defense is locked down. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I agree with you there, Godini. They definitely are propping more quarterbacks than they should. Mediocre quarterback play. Hey, Manab, before I go, what you cooking for dinner tonight? Right. Where is Manab? Did he leave? As a Bills fan, I can confidently say Williams terrifies me. Right. Gunnar is an honest Bills fan. So is Raleigh. Gunnar knows. What does Josh Allen talk about when he plays the Jets? Last year, he talked about, before Rodgers got hurt, of course, before that Monday night game, he said, yes, Aaron Rodgers, this. But he goes, I got to face that defense. And that's what I'm concerned about, facing that Jets defense. Josh Allen has said it a million times. Josh Allen is one of the greatest quarterbacks in the game. Top three QB in the game. And he only worries about their defense. Amen. So when people have told me Quinnen is overrated, I don't know what they're watching. Barkley reminds me of the CMC to the 49ers because McCaffrey went to the 49ers and he was injury prone too. That's true. Good call. He was injury prone on the Panthers, McCaffrey. Is he even playing week 1? Does anybody know? Is McCaffrey playing in week 1? Sauce Gardner, in my opinion, is best cornerback in the league. Amen. I agree with you. I'm not saying that just because I'm a Jet fan. I'm saying I agree with you. McCaffrey didn't decline in Carolina. He couldn't stay on the field. Yeah. He couldn't. He got hurt all the time. I'm not worried about the trash Cowboy. I love watching them lose every year, and they're so hyped up every year. I know people say, well, you're a Jets fan. I know what they expect out of my team. I'm a 4 decades Jet fan. I know what they expect out of my team. But the best stat that I could ever say as a Jet fan toward the Cowboys, Mark Sanchez has more playoff wins as a Jet combined than Dak Prescott and Romo. Mark Sanchez has more playoff wins as a New York Jet than Dak and Romo have combined. That's pathetic. Sanchez wasn't even a bad quarterback. I'm just saying. He's been to 2 AFC championship games. We know it's because of the defense and the offensive line, the team around him, but he was a good game manager on those teams. He still has more than Dak and Romo combined. It's a fact. It's uncanny how much Tim Hill looks like Uncle Rico. You looked it up. He does that. And when you watch him pitch, he talks to himself. He looks at the catcher. He does this a lot. And it's like, I don't care what his motions are. Just keep getting guys out. He's a pretty decent pickup. And he went from the White Sox to the Yankees. So he's got to be pretty thrilled about that. BK, Saquon, Austin Wells is up right now. Bottom of the 5th inning, 1 out, man on first, 2-2. See what we do in here, Kings fan? We talk about everything, regardless about what I have up there, Yankees versus Guardians. We talk about everything in here. Everything. It's the basement, man. You don't get any lower than that, Kings fan. So everybody else in here, as you can already tell, we all know each other. We've all been talking trash to each other. These guys have been around a long time. But this is what we do. It doesn't matter what game is on. Oh, big hit by Wells. That should be 1st and 3rd now. Judge running the 3rd. And he made it. He just made it. If he wasn't 10 feet tall, he might not have made it to 3rd base because it seems like it takes 3 steps in between bases. Good hit by Wells. This guy should be playing all the time. You want to put Trevino in the game, put him in late in the game for defensive purposes. Trevino is a far better defensive catcher than Wells. Wells is pretty good, but Trevino is one of the best defensive catchers in the game. So put him in those situations or against maybe a lefty pitcher. Other than that, Wells should be playing all the time. The Bears are being so overhyped in the NFL media. Well, right, they have narratives. You got to remember, narratives and agendas. And we don't know what he's going to be. We don't know what Caleb Williams is going to be. They're going off vanilla defenses in preseason. But yes, if I'm a Bears fan, I'm going to be excited that my guy looks pretty good coming in. I'm going to be excited about it. If people are Bears fans, they should be excited. Apparently looks really good. Saquon is injury prone, scared to go between the tackles, can't break away, lost a step, isn't as shifty as he used to be, and not nearly as effective. In the passing game, almost 2 entirely different situations. Yes. Gunner, I almost said. Gardini is back. Those are the novels I'm used to reading from Gardini. You got to take a deep breath and read the 4 pages of short stories from Gardini. But they're always very informative. A Kings fan, now, if you come here enough, and during football season, just telling you, you can ask my co-host Lou, who's not on right now. He won't be on for a couple of weeks, but my co-host Lou, you can ask him. Gardini is very good at debating. He's very good at knowledge. Others have tried to tell. Who was it? Bulldog, right? Bulldog went at it with Gardini, and we all loved Bulldog in here, but he didn't fare very well against Gardini. Gardini can debate. So you as an Eagles fan, I'm just letting you know, tread lightly. Gardini is very good at debating. Manav, eating baked potato my mom gave me yesterday way back. Gardini, people can't figure out if Trevor Lawrence is Daniel Jones or See, there you go. That's a perfect example, though. Trevor Lawrence was the next Peyton Manning. You guys know I'm not a draft guy. I don't watch it. I don't care about it because they don't. I mean, I care about it, but we see what happens down the road. Verdugo! Looked like he finally had a good shot into the gap, but nope, it was caught. It's hard. It's funny when people tell me you either won the draft, you lost the draft. These guys won the draft. How do you know anybody won the draft till these players actually play? Remember, Garrett Wilson wasn't tall enough to play in the league. He'd be nothing better than a slot receiver. He could never be a number 1 coming out of Ohio State. He won't make it like that in the league here. Where are we at? I mean, it's a crapshoot. And it's all about where you land, too. It's about where you land. So that's a good one. Trevor Lawrence, I think the jury's still out on him. Gardini, the jury's still out on Trevor Lawrence because I I would take him on my team, but he's not awful. He's not terrible, but he hasn't been the next Peyton Manning yet, right? Remember Zion was the next LeBron. Zion coming out of Duke is the next LeBron. How come everybody has to be the next legend that's already playing? Why is that? Anthony Edwards is the Michael Jordan of basketball right now? That is the craziest one going. Anthony Edwards is a great young player for the Minnesota Timberwolves, no doubt about it, but he's already Michael Jordan? He's already being compared to MJ? This is the media that we live in today. Everybody's got to be a legend right off the bat. Mac Jones, next Tom Brady. Every Patriot fan will tell you that in his first year. Hi, Manav. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Manav. Glad to see you still in here with us, brother. Raleigh, Jets defense is scary. I'll never lie on how I feel when it comes to the AFC East teams. I agree. What about what you guys feeling on the Miami Dolphins? That's the weirdest team to me. The Miami Dolphins, if you guys, whoever's old enough in here to remember, but there was a San Diego Chargers team, Dan Fouts. They had 3 1,000-yard receivers. And I'm pretty sure a 1,000-yard running back in Chuck Muncie, and Kellen Winslow, John Jefferson. Oh, like the third receiver's on the tip of my tongue. Well, anyway, they had 3,000-yard receivers, and they had no defense. I mean, they had to score a touchdown like every time they had the ball. You had to score a touchdown every time you had the ball. You better. They never even made it to a Super Bowl. They're one of the greatest offenses of all time. Dan Coryell was the offensive coordinator. They called it Air Coryell. Air Coryell. The offense was insane. The Buffalo Bills of the 1990s, one of the greatest offenses of all time. They were the first ones to implement the 2-minute offense for the entire game. No one could stop it. The Giants beat them because they kept their offense off of the field. I believe in that Super Bowl, the Giants had possession of the ball for over 40 minutes of a 60-minute game, running Otis Anderson nonstop, O.J. Anderson over and over and over. Smash mouth football. That Buffalo Bills, and they still only won by a point. That Buffalo Bills offense with Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, James Lofton, Thurman Thomas, Kenneth Davis, I believe, was their other running back. Incredible offense. Well, to be fair, Josh Allen, the Jets offense hasn't been anyone's concern since Keyshawn Johnson was a Jet. Yeah, that's probably one of their best offenses was back then. They had the Curtis Martin years, early 2000s. Well, Curtis Martin was on that team too. 2009, 2010, they had an efficient offense. But that 98 Jets team had a great offense. Keyshawn Curtis, Keith Byers was on that team, Wayne Corbett. They had a great offense. Vinny Testaverde was actually really good. Remember, when the Jets got Vinny, they were calling him Intercept the Verdi because he threw tons of interceptions. But when on the Jets, he was money. He was money on the Jets. Nice play by Ben Rice at first. That's 2 outs. Top of the 6th already, 2 down. Cortez, efficient game. 6 innings. He's thrown 74 pitches. Oh, my gosh. Mr. Marine, that is a classic with Tom Hanks. Money Pit? That's one of Morocco Maya's favorite movies. Money Pit is hilarious. Mr. Marine, that's what we're talking about. Tom Hanks' early movies and back to the old Bosom Buddies. Great, great sitcom. You know another Tom Hanks movie that I liked? It was a comedy, The Burbs. You see The Burbs? That was a great movie. Corey Feldman was in that. And Princess Leia, what's her name? Carrie Fisher was in that. The Burbs, really funny movie. Dak has only like 1 or 2 playoff wins in his whole career. Yeah. Mark Sanchez, as a Jet, has more than Romo and Dak combined and went to 2 AFC championship games. Over the last 25 years, Tom Brady has won more NFC championship games than Dallas. Isn't that crazy? Right. I've said this to Dallas fans, and they're like, well, you're a Jet fan. Right. Right. My team usually meets our expectations when we were bad in the Adam Gase years, and we were terrible. Terrible. Dallas never meets their expectations. Ever. They just re-signed Ezekiel Elliott. How old is that guy? Come on. CeeDee Lamb is still holding out, right? I mean, I know that they're going to sign him. I'm just saying. Over the last 25 years, the Browns have made it as far as the Cowboys have, right? For a long time, they would call the Atlanta Braves the team of the 90s, which was weird to me, besides the Yankees winning 4 of them. Whether you count 2000 as the year, as the decade of the 90s or the decade of the 2000s, minimum, they won 3, 96, 98, and 99. Some people count the year 2000 as part of the 90s. The Red Sox fan likes to do that a lot because they have to find little pockets of time where they feel better about being better lately. But overall picture, it's 27-9. Anyway, I'm tailing off. So anyway, how about the Toronto Blue Jays? They won more World Series in the 90s than the Braves did. They won 2. The Braves won 1. Amazingly, with that pitching staff of Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, and if you guys remember, Sean Avery. Was it Sean Avery? Not the Sean Avery jackass that played for the Rangers, not that guy. Steve Avery. His name was Steve Avery. Excuse me. It was Steve Avery. He was a solid pitcher himself. Mark Wohlers, the closer, was like one of the rarest of rares that could hit 100 miles an hour. I mean, I don't know how they didn't win more than 1. I'll never understand that. They had one of the greatest pitching staffs in the history of the game. Wells should be our catcher every day. Let the young kid play. But I agree, Kings fan. I agree. Like I said, if you need Trevino in a tight defensive situation, end of the game, you're up by a run, fine, put Trevino in there. Like they replaced Ben Rice with DJ at first base a lot. Why? Because he's better defenseman than Ben Rice is. Ben Rice is a converted first baseman from being a catcher. Here's Oswald Peraza, who's getting a lot of time, and I know they're trying to test the kid out, but I really like I like Oswaldo Cabrera a lot. When DJ's done after this year, you keep Oswaldo Cabrera as our utility guy. Hold on one second, guys. Here's the answer to the trivia question. I said Todd Zeal, but I think I'm wrong. Matt Lawton. Oh, I was way off. Forget it. Manav, you watching cricket? That's definitely the Kings fan. Manav always likes the new guys to come in. Manav's an OG dweller. Kings fan, that means OG dweller, means he has been here for since I started doing this. Mr. Marine is the longest tenured one. Then I think it's true, but I have the list. I got to read that off. Yeah, Mr. Marine, then I'm pretty sure Trouba's after that. Rick the Ninja's up there. Gunner's up there. Raleigh. I got to look at the list. I have it actually written. I looked up when the subs came in. Yeah, Rick the Ninja's definitely up there. I haven't seen him in a minute. He commented on a couple of things, so he is around. I haven't seen him in here in a while. But you never know. He's Rick the Ninja. He could be in here and we don't know it. Sounds like a Marty Schottenheimer. Oh, man. Marty Schottenheimer. Hey, Gardini, I asked this the other day. I'm going to throw it at you. Who are the 2 coaches with over 100 wins that never won in the playoffs? 2 coaches that have over 100 wins apiece and never won in the playoffs. Who are they? They've made the playoffs. They just never won in them. Who are they, Gardini? Charlie Joyner. Thank you, Lockport. I could not get it out. And I think he wore number 18 just to show I'm not lying. I think Charlie Joyner wore number 18. I could not get it out. It was Chuck Muncie, Kellen Winslow, John Jefferson, and Charlie Joyner. Thank you, Lockport. I think Wes Chandler was the other tight end. He didn't have 1,000 yards, but he was the other tight end on that team. Another solid tight end. That was a great offense. Dan Fouts was an amazing quarterback. Yep, they had one of the greatest playoff games that they lost to the Miami Dolphins, who were not with Dan Marino. They had Don Strock, I think, was their quarterback in that one. Oh, wide right. Yep, wide right. And how about the Buffalo Bills? One thing that happened in that game, they missed like 5,000 tackles on a 3rd and 13 that Bobby Johnson caught for the Giants, and he caught it like behind the line of scrimmage or maybe a yard above it and ran like 13 yards but avoided like 3 or 4 amazing tackles. Like they all missed him. And that was another big reason why the Giants even scored. I mean, why the Bills were even behind. I remember a lot in that game. It wasn't just Scott Norwood gets the blame because he was the last guy kicking, but there was some other factors in that game that shouldn't even come down to that. Ray Finkel. Ray Finkel. Oh, I wonder how Norwood felt about Ace Ventura. Ray Finkel. You all know who that was on. Burbs is a classic. Mr. Marine, that's a classic movie. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Yep. Well, this year we got teams. Well, me anyway. I'm excited about the Jets, the Rangers, the Knicks, and the Yankees. Even though the Yankees, I don't feel we have enough to win the whole thing. I just don't. But what do I know? I thought the Rangers were going to win the whole thing this past season, and we lost in the championship game again. Gunnar, how dare you speak those evil words? Gunnar, at least you weren't alive to see it. You weren't alive to see it, Gunnar. I saw them. I saw all of them. I started watching football when Joe Ferguson, that's how far back I go. Joe Ferguson was the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills when they were destroying the Jets in the playoffs in 1981. It was like 27 or 31-7, something like that, and they won 31-27. I'm pretty sure, something like that. Like the Jets came all the way back and almost won. We didn't, but that's how far back I go. Do you like watching? Oh, cricket. That's right. Manav wants to know all of his cricket buddies in here. Oh, there you go, Manav. There you go. You got another cricket fan, Manav. There you go. Manav's always in search of when it comes to cricket. There you go, Manav. You got somebody to talk to besides the Aussies, man. Phillies versus Braves is a good series, too. Yep. The Braves have had tons of injuries this year. Tons. Wow, the Braves have had a rough go of it this year, man. 2-0 Atlanta in the 5th. Schottenheimer and Marvin Lewis. Boom, Marvin Lewis is one of them, Gardini, not Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer, remember, lost back-to-back years in the AFC Championship game to John Elway. Good call, but no. Schottenheimer was coach of the Browns then. Back-to-back losses to John Elway in the AFC Championship game. One was the drive that Elway did in the last 2 minutes to come back and win. And the next year, Ernest Biner for the Browns looked like he scored the game-winning touchdown to go to the Super Bowl, but he fumbled in the end zone, and that was in 1987. So Marvin Lewis is one of them, Gardini. Nobody help him because we did this question the other day. Marvin Lewis is one of them. So, yeah, Ernest Biner, that was a humongous fumble. If you guys didn't see it, I felt you feel awful for the guy. It looked like he scored the game-winning touchdown, and he fumbled at the goal line. He fumbled it. And the Broncos ended up winning and going on to the Super Bowl. And that was the one I believe they got. Yeah, they lost to the Washington Redskins then. Doug Williams, Gary Clark. Jose Ramirez is up at 7-0 Yankees, top of the 7th. This is great. Cortez is still in there. Thank you, Nestor Cortez. We needed this. The bullpen needed this relief tonight. Gardini, my good NFL knowledge cuts off in the late 80s. That's okay because this guy coached beyond the 80s. He coached beyond the 80s. He has the most famous press conference saying of all time, Gardini. The most famous press conference saying, not speech. One word this guy said at a press conference is still known to this day. That's the best hint I can give you. If you want me to tell you, I'll tell you. It still blows my mind that, yes, sir, Gardini, Jim Mora. Jim Mora is the other one, had over 100. I think he had 125 career wins as a coach, and Marvin Lewis had like 131. Give or take, I'm not exact, but yes, they both of them had over 120 wins for sure. Dez. Oh, you pulled your message. Dodgers versus Seattle tonight at 10:10. That's a really good series. I will be ready to go to bed by then, Kings fan. Glad you could stay up for that. I won't be able. Listen, when I do the Jets and the 49ers, when we do the opening Monday night, or Lou will be on with me then. He knows. I get tired. Johnny, imagine your 4 teams winning all this. Oh my gosh, I would pass out. Mr. Marine. Mr. Marine. Mr. Marine. Could you imagine? Oh my gosh, how are Rice and Cortez running into each other for a flyout? The pitcher should get out of the way. Why are they running into it? Ben Rice just rammed right into Cortez. I mean, why is Cortez even going for a infield fly ball when Rice says he has it? The pitcher should get out of the way. What is Cortez doing? I mean, I don't know. Whatever. They got it. Night, Dez. Night, Dez. Thanks for stopping in, Dez. Good night. Good night. See you this weekend. Surprised Gardini didn't get that first try. I know. Hey, well, he's in the basement. We all don't know everything, but one thing you'll find out in here, Kings fan, we are very knowledgeable. We don't know everything, but wait till you see Trouba Train. He's another one. Trouba Train comes in here. I haven't seen Trouba in a while. He came in here, I think, last week. Anyway, Trouba Train's another one. OG dweller, and he is very knowledgeable, very good with the trivia. Gunner, all of us are good with trivia until we're not good with the trivia. That's how it works in here. Mora with the Saints. He was before the Ricky trade. Mike Ditka was the coach of that Ricky trade. Mora was before that. Then he went to the Colts after that. He was the coach of the Saints and a very young Peyton Manning. He was the coach of that team, too. I'm so confused what era of New Orleans football. Is this before Ricky Williams or after Ricky? Before Ricky Williams. Before. He had that great linebacking core of Sam Mills, Vaughn Johnson, Pat Swilling. Oh, Ricky Vaughn. That was the 4 linebackers that Jim Mora had. They were 4 great linebackers. Ricky Vaughn, Sam Mills, Pat Swilling, and Vaughn Johnson. Those 4 linebackers were something else. Sam Mills was great. Rest in peace. He was great. Those were your 4 linebackers of the Saints back then. I believe Ironhead Hayward was their running back, too. Dalton Hilliard maybe was their running back. I got to look it up. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I'm just going off the top of my head right now. Wasn't Mike Ditka the coach for that? Yes. Mike Ditka traded away their entire draft to get Ricky Williams because he said, going back to what we talked about the draft, he said this is the second coming of Walter Payton. Ricky Williams is the second coming of Walter Payton. Wow. Ricky Williams was a good running back, but he couldn't lick Walter Payton's shoes, man. You forget that. The next Walter Payton. Wow. Couldn't put a candle to him. Good night, Des. Gunner, I'm asking for a lifeline here. Thank goodness that there's still some good teams to watch. Daniel, welcome into the basement. Daniel, subscribe, hit the bell notice. Yes, thank you. Tony Dungy took all of Moore's credit. Oh, come on. No. I'll tell you when, I don't know the exact year Jim Moore stopped coaching the Colts. Yeah, he stopped in 2001. Tony Dungy came in the next year, but no. Tony Dungy did not steal Jim Mora's thunder because Jim Mora couldn't win in the playoffs, couldn't even do it with the Saints when he had the great linebacking core back then. Here's Naylor up now. It's 7-0 Yankees, 2 outs. Thank you, Nestor Cortez. This is the nasty Nestor that made the All-Star game 2 years ago. This is the Nestor we're expecting. And Stroman, too. Stroman's got to wake up, too. Stroman started out great this year. Fell off the map. Come back like Rodon did. Rodon fell off the map after starting out great, and Rodon has come back. Former Blue Jays fan, huh, Daniel? We got another Blue Jays fan in here, Daniel. That's one faded Gunner. Gunner here, the guy right above you in the chat. He is a Blue Jays fan. I never understand the Blue Jays, Daniel. Never understand them. They're never, I know they're in last now, but I always tell, Gunner and I talk about this all the time. They're always like middle of the road. They never challenge the AFC East, the AL East, and they never like come in last. I know they're in last now, but you know what I'm talking about. They're always like middle of the road. And then teams like Tampa that don't even have half the batting order that Toronto has. I don't get it either. I'm surprised that Vladimir Guerrero is still on. I really thought they were going to trade Guerrero. So much credit as I give Dungy, it says more about him than he only won one ring with Peyton. Well, he stuck around until I think 2008. And by the way, that theory that like John Gruden took over Tony Dungy's team and won with that team. It's kind of funny because they played against the Raiders, which was Gruden's old team. So Bill Callahan was the head coach of that team. That really screams taking over a team. So he could obviously coach. Gruden could obviously coach because people are knocking him as like he couldn't coach a team. But they played his former team, which was coached by a guy, Bill Callahan, who was a career offensive line coach. Never a head coach before. That, to me, is the biggest one that screams took over someone's team and went to a Super Bowl. Besides honorary mention Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer literally, and George Seifert for that matter, we could throw him in there too. George Seifert and Barry Switzer took over teams and became Super Bowl champion coaches that teams could have made it there if you or I coached that team. Anthony Beck, Mr. Marine. Anthony Beck. I think that's the guy we took instead of Warren Sapp. Anthony Beck, Mr. Marine. Who was the tight end that was big disappointment after Schuler? He was so good in college. Anthony Beck. Mickey Schuler, man, you're going back. Mickey Schuler, remember Kurt Sohn, Wesley Walker, Al Toon. Man, we had some good receivers back. Kurt Sohn, remember him? I don't know how that came out. Some file just opened up in my brain with pulling out Kurt Sohn, war number 87. Chris Burkett. Ricky Collins was the best prospect in history at that time. No doubt he was. Remember Tony Richardson? He was going to be the next Jim Brown. Tony Richardson. There's plenty of running backs that come up. Ron Dane. Thunder and Lightning. Ron Dane. Stutter Step Dane. Couldn't hit the hole. I mean, in college, he was a beast, Ron Dane at Wisconsin. Beast. Really weird. Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush was a solid running back, but he didn't – when I say he didn't live up to what he was supposed to be, because they said he was the next Marshall Faulk. He had all that ability to do that. He just never lived up to it. But he wasn't terrible. Wasn't terrible at all. Reggie Bush had a solid career. But he wasn't Marshall Faulk. Like you wouldn't even think twice you would take Marshall Faulk. Payton would have won more if Brady wasn't in the league. By the way, wasn't it a little odd that around 2002, give or take, the Colts got pulled out of the AFC East? Remember that? You would have had Manning versus Brady over and over and over. Twice a year. They would have played twice a year in the regular season. And right when the Colts started to get good, they were out of the playoffs. And by the way, that's when the Jets and Chad Pennington beat them 41-0 in a playoff game. True story. Herman Edwards and the Jets beat Tony Dungy, Peyton Manning, 2002 playoffs, 41-0. Chad Pennington. There he is. Chad Pennington. You know how old this is? Chad Pennington. The first quarterback I felt confident was good. He actually was good. Chad Pennington was a solid quarterback. There he is. Pennington. How about that? That is old school. That is old school right there. Bo is going to be gone by December. Former Blue Jays. I got to catch up again. I mean, no, besides Sean Payton and Greg Williams, bounty hunting has one in New Orleans, so I give more of a pass there. That bounty hunting thing was funny to me because that's what they did in the 80s. In the 80s, like people threatened each other on the field all the time. You ever watch the Raiders from back then with Ted Hendricks and Lyle Alzado and Jack Tatum? These guys would knock your head off. You don't even need the ball. And they would tell you they were going to do it. Lawrence Taylor, how many guys he threatened? The 85 Bears, Dan Hampton, Richard Dent, Mike Singletary, Otis Wilson, Wilbur Marshall, Steve McMichael. These guys would knock you to tomorrow, and they would tell you about it. They would tell you it during the game. I mean, I read Al Davis's book the owner of the legendary owner of the Raiders and former commissioner of the NFL, said in that book, you got to drive. He told his guys, this was back then, of course, you can never get away with this now. You got to drive that quarterback into the ground within the first 5 plays. You got to knock their receivers out. The first 5 plays, let them know you're there. Let them get scared. Let them have those alligator arms. You got to drive the quarterback into the ground. Let them know you're there. Get them scared. You imagine an owner saying that now, or anybody for that matter? Gunnar, the Blue Jays are never good enough to win it all, but never bad enough to get good picks. It's true. So true. And you guys got one of my favorite Yankee relievers, Chad Green. I like Chad Green. He's on your team. The funniest part about that Super Bowl was the Gruden was reading Gannon and Callahan calls because they didn't change them from when he was in Oakland and why they dominated. Yeah, no doubt. That was crazy. I miss when my team had good drafts. I know it does feel weird that it just feels weird to me that the Giants just aren't good. I grew up and the Giants were always good. The Jets were decent in the 80s. They had the sack exchange. Klecko Gastineau, Abdul Salam, Marty Lyons. Decent linebackers, Lance Mell. Darryl Ray was a cornerback. Kirk Springs. We had Lester Lyles was a safety. Like, we had a team back then. But the Giants were the team. Leonard Marshall. I mean, they're George Martin, Taylor, Banks, Reasons, Harry Carson. These Giant teams were phenomenal. Incredible teams. The Giants always were great. When I grew up, the Giants were smash mouth. That whole NFC East were the best teams in the league. The NFC, I mean, I know the 49ers, but I'm talking about as a division, the NFC East, from Washington to Philly to Dallas to the Giants. And Dallas had Danny White at quarterback. They were kind of like the not good team. And they even had the Arizona Cardinals, which were the St. Louis Cardinals. They were in that division back then. The St. Louis Cardinals were part of the NFC East at one time. Now, I know they're the Arizona Cardinals now and the Phoenix Cardinals, whatever else name they got. But thought it was Kyle Brady. Kyle Brady, Mr. Marine. Yes. Check me on that. Kyle Brady. You are correct. It was Kyle Brady. Boom, you got me. Well, Anthony Beck came out with a big resume, and we didn't take Warren Sapp. But that was after that. You are correct, sir. Kyle Brady. You are correct. Marine is just a history book. Yes, going to be honest with you, Johnny, Indianapolis had zero reason to be in the East Division. Right. But right when the rivalries were going to start, because Peyton Manning, could you imagine Peyton Manning now coming out with the first season that he had? 3-13, 28 interceptions, coming out of Tennessee, highly touted quarterback coming out of Tennessee. 3-13, 28 picks. Could you imagine? Let's say Caleb Williams started out like that. Oh, they'd be booing him, get him out of town. This guy is trash. Back then, you let people, develop. You let people develop. And look at what Peyton Manning turned into. Not saying it always works out that way, but goodness gracious. Troy Aikman's first season was, oh no, Aaron Judge again. Aaron Judge, second home run of the night. 8-0 Yankees. 8-0 Yankees. We're making Cleveland pay for that game yesterday. We're paying them back. And because the Mets beat Baltimore today, the Yankees are going to take over first place. Thank you, Mets, for beating the team that's tied with us in first. Aaron Judge's second home run of the game. Juan Soto's already homered this game. 8-0 Yankees. And we're still in the seventh inning. They had zero reason to be in the East Division, but it's just funny to me, like when things started to get heated up in there, the Colts versus the Patriots back then would have been epic. It would have been classic. Oh, Eli Manning was better than Chad Pennington. Chad Pennington is one of the – I think he's still in the top 10 for accuracy of all time. Chad Pennington was awesome, but I would take Eli Manning over him, no doubt. I would never compare the Jet quarterbacks to Ken O'Brien was a solid quarterback for the Jets in the 80s. He actually, a lot of his numbers are close to Namath's, except for Namath had a losing record. Do you know? Oh, good. Here's a question for everybody. For everybody. Giancarlo grounded up the middle to second. He's out. Now, here's a question. Who are the only two drafted, not brought in, not traded for, drafted quarterbacks the Jets have ever had with winning records? Who are the only two New York Jets quarterbacks that were drafted by the team that finished their career with winning records that played more than 3 years as the starter? Two Jets. Technically there's three, but I'm just going to say two for now. I'll tell you the technical third one. But two genuine starters for the Jets had winning records as draft. Nobody else. Can you imagine that in their entire history? Two, and Joe Namath is not one of them. Joe Namath had a losing record as a Jets quarterback. There's two of them. Who are they? Boom. Gardini got Mark Sanchez. That's one. Testaverde was not drafted by the Jets, Gardini. He was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Drafted quarterbacks. O'Brien and Pennington. Good guess, Bruin, but O'Brien sadly had a losing record. Pennington is the other one, though. So Bruin got half right. Gardini got half right. It's Chad Pennington and Mark Sanchez are your two drafted quarterbacks that won with the Jets. Now, the third guy I was telling you about was 11-8. His name was Pat Ryan. He was Ken O'Brien's backup for an eternity. But he did start the 1984 season where I believe – he started 1984 season. He started that whole year. He ended up – his career was 11-8. I believe he was 11-8 as a Jets quarterback. But since he did start for one whole season because O'Brien was hurt, he technically was another drafted quarterback by the Jets that had a winning record. But he was never really the starter. He started one season. Sure, you can get into the intangibles of his play, but the mindset that Romo played with is sorely gone from the NFL today. Amen. I missed a couple things before that. Hold on, let me get back. Okay, zero reason in the East Division. Our number 10 was better. Okay, I left off there. Mr. Marine, we try. Give me some Bill Romanowski. Oh, my gosh. Bill Romanowski. Oh. Bill Romanowski, 49ers, Broncos, Raiders. Was there anybody else? 49ers, Broncos, Raiders, Romanowski. Off the top of my head, I don't think he played for anybody else. Good player, too much steroids, horrible man of life, abusive to the core. Yeah, he was a horrible person, Romanowski. And the steroids really killed him. Like he said he didn't start taking them until he went to the Raiders. And he really had to he really tried to keep his career going for a couple more years. But remember when he spit in, I think it was J.J. Stokes' face? That's where I lost all respect for him right there. That was awful. And he said he came out because he was yelling so much. No, he didn't. He spit on him. I know about Romo's off-the-field troubles, but on the field, man, he was a menace. The steroids made him to be the player he was. Otherwise, he was a bum. Sure, you can get into the intangible of his – now I see why you said that. I did back up. Okay, I read that already. Look at Allen's first season. Even his second season wasn't great, but he showed improvement. Right. Absolutely. Now Josh Allen, like you said, Gunnar, I'll always give you credit for it. Igor Shesterkin is the Josh Allen of hockey. These guys carry their teams on their backs, and the media has turned on them, and they're overrated now. Meanwhile, without either one of those guys, the Rangers and the Bills go zero. They go nowhere without Allen or Igor. They go nowhere. Nowhere. Of course, I know about Broadway's Joe's losing record. Yep. He's most famous because he won the most important Super Bowl in the American Football League's history. Had the Jets lost Super Bowl III, that league probably would have folded. Joe Namath was the first superstar to come out of college, especially Alabama, and go to the AFL and not the NFL. So there was a lot of reasons why Joe made the Hall of Fame, even though his numbers are not Hall of Fame worthy, not even close. But reasons like that in such a time for the AFL versus the NFL and the history of the game, a lot of reasons why Joe Namath went to the Hall of Fame. And he didn't even throw a touchdown in that Super Bowl. Trent Grisham's now in center field, top of the 8th inning. It's 8-0 Yankees. Eli should be let in, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. 1 second. Let me just make sure I'm caught up here. Now it's all about the money. Yes, Mr. Marine, it is all about the money. There's no doubt about it. Remember Ronnie Lott had his finger amputated, had his pinky amputated so he wouldn't miss the playoffs, so he wouldn't get a cheap ring, quote unquote, standing on the sidelines when the 49ers won. He had his finger amputated so he wouldn't miss the playoffs. Yep. Gardini. Yeah, Gunnar, Mark Sanchez is one. And you know what? You said that before. It was definitely answered. I know who got Pennington. Bruin got Pennington, and you and Gardini got Mark Sanchez. So, yes. Eli Manning should be in. You know why? Same reason why Terrell Davis got in. Terrell Davis didn't play a long time. Yes, he did have a 2,000-yard season. But without those Super Bowl wins, and John Elway, who's the only other quarterback besides Brady to start in 5 Super Bowls. Without Terrell Davis, they're not winning that one against the Packers, who were going for back-to-back wins because the Packers the year before beat Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots in that Super Bowl. So without Terrell Davis, they're not winning that Super Bowl against the Packers, possibly against the Falcons, but I'll take that back because the Broncos may not have ever beaten Vinny Testaverde, Curtis Martin, that Jet team without Terrell Davis. He was a big reason why they won those 2 Super Bowls, on top of the fact that the AFC, when they lost, when the AFC finally won, there's a home run right there. There we go. He gave up a home run. It's now 8-1. Noel hit a home run for Cleveland. Top of the 8th inning is now 8-1. We just brought in our bullpen, and a home run happened right off the bat. Now, when the Broncos won and beat the Packers, Brett Favre and the Packers, it's the first time the AFC had won a Super Bowl since all the way back in the 83-84 season when the Raiders beat the Redskins with Jim Plunkett, Marcus Allen. They beat John Riggins, Joe Theismann, and Art Monk and the Washington Redskins. They beat them in that Super Bowl. That is the last time the AFC would see a Super Bowl win until 1997 when John Elway and Terrell Davis won. That's 14 years in between, whatever the case. It was that long. It was that long in between. So there's many reasons why Terrell Davis made the Hall of Fame. Numbers alone, he wouldn't have made it. Priest Holmes has better numbers than Terrell Davis career-wise. Eli Manning beat all his I believe all of his wins were road games in the playoffs. He beat all the top teams, the 15-1 Packers, beat Brett Favre in a snowstorm in the championship game in Green Bay, beat Aaron Rodgers. They were 15-1, that Green Bay team. They beat the 13-3 San Francisco 49ers. Then they beat the Patriots, Tom Brady twice. They beat Romo and the Cowboys, which is no surprise. Everybody beats the Cowboys in the playoffs, but I believe they had Terrell Owens. They did have Terrell Owens on that team. That Dallas team was solid. They beat them in Dallas. He beat every top team in the NFC, and they beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl. The team of the forevers, the ultimate dynasty, Bill Belichick, all this stuff. Eli beat them twice. So if it's all about playoffs and winning the Super Bowl, then Eli Manning deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for the same reason Terrell Davis went in. Terrell Davis was a dynamic running back. He didn't play a long time. The only other running back to get in that short of a span was Gale Sayers. So without those Super Bowl wins, would Terrell Davis be in the Hall of Fame? No. Priest Holmes isn't. His numbers are just as good. We got this Meza. Meza's on the mound. Seen much from him, but when you come out in an 8-0 game, guys like Meza, who you may have heard of or not. Anyway, I just lost my point. Pat Ryan is Jimmy Garoppolo without the Patriots aura. Kind of, but Pat Ryan did more with the Jets than Garoppolo ever did with the Patriots, and he never started like Garoppolo did. Pat Ryan would be more like a Gardner Minshew. How about that? He'd be like a Gardner Minshew. I was going to say Nick Foles, but Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, which Pat Ryan did. He'd be like a Gardner Minshew. When Pat Ryan came in, you knew they had a real shot at winning. Ken O'Brien missed 1986, missed the first playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Pat Ryan played that, and they won. They won that game. Then they lost the following week to the Browns when they should have won, but they blew it because Mark Gastineau hit Bernie Kosar about 10 hours after he threw the ball to let a drive continue when it should have been over, and they scored a touchdown. So on and so on. Yeah, Gardini, Aaron Judge hit 40 home runs in his last 90 games. Can you imagine at the end of April, he only had 6 home runs? Aaron Judge only had 6 home runs at the end of April. Only 6. Kings fan is back. All right, welcome back, brother. Good to keep having you in here, man. But now I'm going to eat my dinner in a few minutes. Johnny and the other dwellers, have a good night, Johnny, and other dwellers, love you all. We love you too, Manav. Always. 2 outs, ground out, there it is. So Meza gave up 1 home run. Top of the 8th inning is over. Volpe, Verdugo, and Peraza coming up. They are 3 and 2 is 5, and 2 is 7. Volpe, Verdugo, and Peraza are 0 for 7 combined. Can Volpe and Verdugo get a night off, please, Aaron Boone? Because both of them are struggling mightily, and they keep playing. Got Oswaldo Cabrera sitting on the bench. The guy takes every opportunity given to him with 110% effort. I love Oswaldo Cabrera. Why don't you let him start a game and let Verdugo or Volpe sit? He could start for either one. Cabrera plays every position except for pitching and catching. The guy's only 25 years old. Play him. He's not an everyday player, but I mean, give one of these two guys a break. Give them both a break. You can play Trent Grisham in the outfield. He's a gold glove outfielder. I wonder what other teams think about pitching to Soto and Judge. Must be the worst thing possible. Yeah, the Mets didn't pitch to Judge at all. That's a big reason why they swept them 4 games, the Mets. Carlos Mendoza was our bench coach last year, Kings fan. He's the manager of the Mets now. You know what he said? Walk Judge and let the rest of the team try to beat us. They walked him like every time. Intentionally walked them or pitched around them because nobody behind him could do anything. Judge and Soto can win the Yankees games in the postseason. Well, they can, but in the postseason, it's going to be a little difficult because there will be teams that will pitch right around them. But Wells is starting to hit now. Wells has really been hitting. I believe he's hitting over 300 in his last 16 games, and he has like 16 ribbies. Stanton's give or take. Stanton's kryptonite is that freaking slider that goes 10 feet off the plate, and he always swings at it. And here's the Yankees' upcoming schedule. After Cleveland, we're playing the Rockies, who thank the heavens, thank the baseball gods that the White Sox are around, because the Rockies are an atrocious baseball team. Atrocious. But again, they thank the MLB gods that the White Sox are around, so no one focuses on how pathetic the Rockies are. Then we play the Nationals, who are really bad also after that. That's our next 2 series. Our next 6 games. Well, we have 1 against Cleveland tomorrow, and then we have 6 games against doormats. Like we went 8-7. These are worse than the teams that had losing records before, which was the Angels and the Tigers and the Rangers. I mean, the Rockies and the Nationals are like the lowest of the lows. Oh, base hit. Volpe got one down the line. That's going to be a double. He's stretching it to a double, and he got it. Mr. Marine, everyone in here, how many wins do my Giants get this year? I'm giving them 7. 7 wins, Mr. Marine. 7. I think what the Giants are going to do, Mr. Marine, is what the Jets did last year. It absolutely no offense, and their defense carried them the whole season to 7 wins. The Jets got 7 wins last year, mainly because of their defense. I mean, the Giants will get 5 to 7 wins. 7 wins at the most. 5 to 7 because of their defense. Burns is a humongous pickup for them as well. This bullpen sucks. Oh, no doubt, Kings. Except for Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver and Uncle Rico, Tim Hill, those 2 guys are solid. Mark Leiter, we brought him over from the Cubs, is a merry-go-round on the bases when he pitches. Here's Verdugo. Come on, Verdugo. Get a hit. Terrell Davis was so important to that team. They had him in on a play that wasn't even a running play. Yes, I remember it, by the goal line, because if they didn't have him in, they wouldn't believe that they were running the ball. Very important. Very good. Good call on that one, Gunner. Yes. Well, he had a migraine and couldn't even see just to make Green Bay believe they would run it. Amen. Very good, Gunner. Mike Shanahan made that call. Yep. Do you remember at the end of the game when Steve Atwater, when Favre and the Packers were driving down the field, Steve Atwater, one of the legendary safeties of the game, all-time Hall of Fame safety, and Tyrone Braxton collided, and they both had to come out on the final play of the game. You have 2 of your all-star players, 2 of your top secondary guys. Steve Atwater, again, one of the greatest safeties the game has ever seen. Separated Christian Okoye's shoulder, by the way. He hit him so hard. No one did that to him on a Monday Night Football game. But anyway, Steve Atwater and Tyrone Braxton, boom, collided on a play. They both had to sit out the next play, which was the final play of the game. And the Broncos pulled that win out. Yes, he did. Eli beat everybody. He should be in the Hall of Fame. It's all about the playoffs, right? He should be in the Hall of Fame. I think his problem is they compare him to Peyton Manning too much. They both have 2 Super Bowl wins. Eli has 0 Super Bowl losses. And he did it on the road, guys. He did it on the road. Eli might have been okay in the regular season, but he did it on the road in the playoffs. These weren't even home games. I think he had 1 home playoff game against Tampa Bay, like a wild card game or something. But everything else I know was on the road. And they were against all the top teams, the 49ers, the Packers. I mean, and like even in a snowstorm in Green Bay, he didn't win there. Then he beat Tom Brady and the Patriots twice. So if it's not about winning the Super Bowl and being important in that area, then, I mean, will people say, well, it was the lucky catch? No. People take that lucky catch by David Tyree as if it was a touchdown-winning catch. It wasn't. They still had to score a touchdown. It wasn't a touchdown-winning catch. It was an important catch, but it wasn't for a touchdown. Remember, Eli got out of a sack. He should have been sacked on that play. If you really go back and look at that play, he should have been sacked. He beat Rodgers in 11, lost to Rodgers in 16. There you go. Unless you watch Barry Bonds, Aaron Judge is the greatest hitter we have seen since the 50s or 40s. I saw Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds, Judge is starting to bring that aura. Barry Bonds came up to the plate. You walked him with the bases loaded, like, because you're only giving up 1. You're only giving up 1. Favre started for Green Bay in 2000, 2007, 2008. Yes, that is correct. Yes, because then in 2008, he went to the Jets. 7 is nice. I appreciate the confidence, Johnny. I know it's nice. I'm being nice, but I am basing it. I'm saying 5. I expect 5, but I could see 7 because of what the Jets did last year. 0 offense. 0. All due respect to Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. You know what I'm talking about. The defense got them 7 wins. The defense got them 7 wins. Did. Everybody on the opposing team knew Brees and Garrett Wilson were getting the ball. They still couldn't stop it, but it wasn't enough. That defense and the Giants' defense, I could say 7 is a max, but I'm thinking 5. But that would be my reason. So I was and who's your starting running back now? Devin Singletary? Here's Ben Rice, who's 0 for 3. Bottom of the 8th inning. Okay, 3 more outs to go, guys. It's 8-1. I think we got this. Beating Favre, Rodgers, and Brady is very impressive, though. And beating Brady twice. And remember, the undefeated season. I love bringing up the Patriot fans. You guys talk about all your great years. You never bring up your 18-1 season. 18-1. Patriot fans, friends of mine and family that make fun of the Jets to me all these years. The only thing I could ever say to them was, you just do to the Jets what you couldn't do to the Giants. Oh, that pissed them off. You took it out on the Jets. Couldn't do it to the Giants, so you took it out on the Jets. Gardini, Orioles' next 7 games versus Houston and the Dodgers. If we don't separate here, I can't. Right. Amen, Gardini. And they just dropped 2 out of 3 to the Mets. Thank you, Winker, and thank you, Alvarez. 2 walk-off home runs, man. And I watched the Met-Baltimore game 2 days ago. That home run by Francisco Alvarez was just electric. You could see it in Queens. It was electric. And I loved it because I was going, I'm going for the Mets anyway, but I really wanted them to win that day because of Baltimore. I loved it. He smashed that ball, man. That was great. So you were misremembering. Yeah, that's all right, bro. And you're in the basement, buddy. Come on. I mean, Mr. Marine corrected me on Kyle Brady. I was thinking Anthony Beck. I got that wrong, and I know a whole lot about my Jets, and I completely forgot about Kyle Brady. Gardini, Orioles next 7 games. I just read that. And the Orioles haven't been playing that great of ball. Like I said, we played the Angels, the Rangers, who I know are better than their record shows and defending champions. And then we played the White Sox. How we didn't sweep the White Sox is beyond me. That's a gimme series. So now we're playing the National League's version of the White Sox, which is the Colorado Rockies. That should be an easy sweep. Let's get real. And the Nationals are, let's see, what are the Nationals? I know they're not in last. The Marlins are in last. I know that off the top of my head. But what is the Nationals' record? You know it's bad. The Nationals are 57-70. They're in 4th place, 17 games out of first with a .449 win percentage. They're terrible. And the Rockies, since we're here, 47-80, 28 games out of first. The Rockies are the worst. Oh, I'll take that back. The Marlins are 46-80. The Rockies have a 1-game. The Marlins have let me word this right. The Marlins have a 1-game lead on being the worst team in the National League over the Rockies. They have a 1-game lead on the Rockies for basement supremacy. They have a 1-game lead. Marlins are 46-80, and the Rockies are 47-80. But the Rockies have a better win percentage, 370 win percentage. 1 out, 2 to go, guys. 2 to go, and I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow night. I'll be back tomorrow night unless I'm not. I should be, though. Gunnar, my favorite play from that game was Elway's helicopter dive. Oh, it was amazing. Amazing helicopter dive. There was a great one of, I think it was Nat Moore against the Jets. Had the original helicopter dive from like the early 80s. But yeah, that one was in the Super Bowl. Elway wanted that Super Bowl so badly, man. Come on, let's go. 2 more outs. Rocco's waking up right on time. There's the 2nd out, assuming Glaber doesn't throw it away. 2 outs. This is perfect. Rocco is just waking up. He's just starting to wake up. He's got to go out. So this is all due respect, but we don't have a Sauce Gardner. I know. Gardini, Giants are my 2nd favorite team. The only New York team I hate is who? The Islanders. I'll never in life go for them. Oh, Rocco's awake. Right on time. And there's the third out. Talk about right on time. I might go on Sunday if the weather cooperates. Nice. I feel like Eli is kind of like Chris Osgood when it comes to the Hall of Fame. That's a good comparison. That's fair. Bruin, that's fair. Osgood was a solid goalie, but he was like Mike Vernon was like the guy. When you think of Detroit, besides Hasek, I'm talking about, you think about Mike Vernon. Right, Chris Osgood, he played with Mike Vernon, actually. Yeah. Wow, okay. That's a good one, though, Bruin. I like that one. Gunnar, Knox had one against you guys a couple years ago. What? Knox. My brain is done. What do you mean, Gunnar? Explain. Uh-oh, he's awake. Right on time. Basement mascot is awake, and he's ready to go outside. He is too old to try to hold it. Too old to try to hold it. Wow, have I looked that dim this whole time? Knox had one against you guys a couple years ago. Knox. Why am I lost on that one? Johnny, the Yanks don't have Soto this year. How many wins this year? Oh, my gosh, please. We'd probably be about 10 games out of first place because everybody would pitch around Judge. It was like the Yankees of the 80s. A lot of times we just had Mattingly and Winfield and nobody else. We had Gary Ward, Jack Clark. We got him from the Cardinals. Remember that? Jay Buhner, who was a strikeout machine on the Yankees before he went to the Mariners and became a Yankee killer. Oh, yeah, Ricky Henderson a couple times in those teams. 1985 Yankees team really would have been great if we had the system that they have in place now. That 85 Yankees team might have been a championship team had we had the playoff system that we have now. Back then, remember, if you ain't first, you're last. You had the American League East, the American League West, the National League East, the National League West. You came in first place. The East winner played the West winner in both leagues, and that was it. You made the playoffs. It was the championship game for the pennant, and then you went to the World Series. That was it. So if you finished in second, sorry. And the Yankees in 85 didn't finish in first. But they had a mean batting order. They could have won that year. Ron Guidry was still around. They could have won that year. Oh, yeah. Yankees won 8-1. Kings fan. Yankees won 8-1. You'll get used to the basement, man. I'll put the game that's going to be on, but we talk about all sports in here, man. We just go on and on. It's just like a hangout, Kings fan. It's a hangout in here. It's the basement. You don't get any lower than that, right? And this is Rocco, the basement mascot. Have a good one, Johnny. I'm out. All right, guys, I should be on tomorrow night. Gardini, great to see you back in here, man. You're an OG too, man. All the OGs were in here tonight. And a new subscriber, Kings fan. Thank you so much for joining in and signing up and being part of the basement, man. Stick around long enough, we'll make you a dweller status. Have a good one, Johnny. I'm out. Basement fam. Yep. Good night. I don't have Prime set. Oh, okay. It's okay. Kevin Knox is. Oh, Kevin Knox. You're jumping to the New York Knicks. Oh, that was awful. Kevin Knox. Holy crap. It was hard. It's hard being a Jets fan, going from a Jets season and into a Knicks season for many years. It was rough to do that. Dawson Knox scored a TD on you a couple of years ago. Oh, I remember that. He was hit at the 1 yard line and flipped in the air and barely crossed the line. Yes, I remember that. Now I do, because when you said Knox, that went, pew, Gunner. Pew, that went right over my head, bro. All right, guys. Thank you as always. Always appreciate you guys showing up. Yankees kicked butt today, back in first place. Take one against Cleveland tomorrow, and then we should have a pretty easy road after that. Should. Time will tell, guys. We'll see you soon. Rocco and I are out. All right? Bye. He's like, well, Rocco's like, whatever, dude. Get me outside. Gotta go. All right, guys. I'm out.